after missing 10 games, returned with a vengeance.
Well, he certainly did, Adam. The one thing about Marc, Greig, they've been waiting for this guy to turn it up. Last night was his best game in an Aero uniform. He played great. Watch this move on the breakaway. He fakes out the goaltender. Unbelievable. Shows no ill effect from that ankle injury. The Aeros can get back him at 100%. He's going to be a huge asset.
When you talk about guys that are hated in the IHL, it seems like Daniel Shank's name comes up a lot, but no matter what you say about the guy, he still produces.
Well, he gets the job done. And he is a hated man in the IHL. He just is so physical. He agitates every player in the IHL, and he gets underneath their skin. The Aeros have to let him be. Do not let Daniel Shank get the Aeros off their game tonight, because if he does, he can be very effective. As we saw last night, with that magic wand, he can score goals.
This game being played in the Alamodome, and you can talk about home ice advantage, but it takes on a whole new meaning tonight because we're talking about Olympic-sized ice.
Well, that's just a huge meeting, Adam. This ice surface is so large tonight, it's going to have an effect on the game. You can just look at the dimensions. It's 10 feet longer, 15 feet wider, and that has to go into the game plan. And tonight I had a chance to ask Dave Tippett, how does this affect your game plan?
Well, what it does, with the extra width in the rink, it adds space to it, which tends to create holes behind defenders that are bigger than normal. So on our side, we want to exploit those holes, and defensively, we want to make sure we don't give up any of those holes. We want to play a tight checking game. A lot of it comes down to angling instead of the big hit. A lot of times you have to angle a player and not let him back into that hole.
The head coach of the Dragons, Jeff Brubaker, a contrasting view. He feels that people make too much a deal about it. Well, his team's 1-2 on this ice, and I still think that's a key element in our gamble game plan.
Well, it has to be, Adam. The ice surface is going to come into play. The one thing I really like about Dave Tippett's comments is the angling. The Aeros cannot go out of their way to hit a Dragon. They have to angle them into the boards. That goes into the physical play. They have to be physical, but they have to be very smart, and they have to capitalize on their opportunities. Last night, they were 3 for 7 on the power play. The Dragons were 1 for 6. Whoever capitalizes on their opportunities tonight is going to have the team with more success.
All right, when we return, it's the opening face-off. The Aeros and the San Antonio Dragons from the Alamodome. We'll be right back. Houston Aeros hockey on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, with fares so low you have the freedom to go places. By your participating Texas Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers. By Columbia Healthcare Corporation. Healthcare has never worked like this before. By Hilo Auto Supply. For the lowest prices every day, what you need is Hilo. And by the Gatorade Company. You live life, you get thirsty. Life's a sport. Drink it up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to the Alamodome, along with Troy Gamble, Adam Gordon, everybody rising for tonight's national anthem, and we send it down to the ice level.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave?
We are set to go for the Aeros and the San Antonio Dragons. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Southwest Airlines. First for the Aeros, Marc Freer, Al May, Al Conroy up front defensively, Mike Hurlbutt and Steve Jakes. And boy, it's not even a given anymore when you talk about who's starting in goal. Frederic Chabot for the Aeros making another start, and he continues to plug along and play some terrific hockey. And looking at the starting lineups for the San Antonio Dragons, again brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Lonnie Loach, Daniel Shank, Jason Miller with David Harlock and Marc Laforge defensively. And making the start tonight is Bruce Racine. Littman started last night. Racine 18-8 on the year at 3.03 goals against average. He is second in the IHL behind Frederic Chabot in shutouts. Chabot with 6, Racine with 5.
And Bruce Racine struggled last game. He did not play that well.
Our referee tonight, it's the same crew as last night. Joe Ernst, the referee, the linesman Kevin Mallon, and Lark Hahn. Aeros in their road blues defend the goal to our left, and the Dragons in their home whites defend the goal to our right, and we are underway. Puck put to the boards. Aeros come right out, and now we've got Miller dropping the gloves and going after Al May. We've got 8 seconds gone in the first period, and actually it's Marc Laforge, not Miller. It was Laforge that went pounding after Al May. But 8 seconds into this game, and we have fisticuffs.
Just kind of left off from last night at the Summit. There was a lot of fisticuffs. There was 5 fights last night. And Laforge, I believe, will likely get the extra 2. It looks like he's going to end up getting the boot out of here as the linesman's taken. This comes right off the draw. Al May is going to be at the lower part of the picture here. And Laforge comes in and has his gloves off before Al May can drop his gloves. So Marc Laforge is going to likely get that instigating penalty that we saw that was so prevalent last night with Dave Moose Morissette getting his 4th and now going to be suspended for 6 games.
Nothing up on the board yet as far as penalty time. Al May didn't get anything as far as the deal goes yet. 5 minutes up on the board to Marc Laforge. Laforge doesn't like the call.
Well, he's down. He's not even in the penalty box there. He's off towards heading into the locker room. He's talking there to David McIntyre in the lower pitcher, who's not in the lineup tonight. A little bumped up, and he's a big offensive threat. Marc Laforge does not know where to go, and Joe Ernst is saying, hey, go to the locker room. That's where you're going.
Well, I think Joe Ernst is going to set a precedence. He says, you know, things got out of hand last night. Doesn't want to see it happen here tonight, and I think he's going to try and clamp things down. Head coach Jeff Brubaker has done a terrific job with his hockey club. He's got him first place in the Midwest Division, but this has probably been the most you could say about his team in a funk. 4-5-1 in the last 10, if you call that a funk.
Well, they've been struggling a little bit. Lenny Barrie's been hurt. Lonnie Loach has been hurt. They're just starting to come back into the lineup. They're trying to work their way out of the funk now.
Here comes Mark Lamb. He'll carry the puck out at center. Pushed it to Greig. He's in alone. Shoots. And Racine the save. Puck behind the net. Here is Conroy. Centered. Lamb, who fell. Trying to golf it away. And the Dragons out at center. But it's knifed away by Hurlbutt and cleared to neutral ice. You can kind of sense this might take a feeling out process for the guys in the blue to just get used to this larger ice. Mark Greig dropped it for Conroy. Feathered a pass for Mark Lamb. Scooped it for Guy LaRose. LaRose, give it to Lamb. Cuts to the slot. He winds. He shoots. Racine the save, and he'll hold on. I think, realistically speaking, Troy Gamble, you look at this large ice surface, it's going to take a feeling out process. The Dragons have played 3 games. They've had a chance to practice on this ice. All the Aeros got was the pregame skate just prior to the game tonight.
And Dave Tippett, before he has a 5:30 meeting, and I had a chance to talk to him just briefly before that meeting. He said, hey, Troy, I got to get in there. We need a big pep talk tonight because of this ice surface. We got to go over a few different things, and I think Dave Tippett's likely going to instill maybe a little bit of a different forecheck, a little bit of a different breakout, because it's just a different game with all that extra room on the ice.
45 seconds gone in the power play. Nearly a minute gone in the first period. Scoreless hockey game. Face off in the circle to the left side of Bruce Racine. all the elements are the same on a larger ice surface. The face-off circles are the same size. You've got the marks. The crease is the same. You just have the sides from the circle are 7.5 feet wide on each side, which totals up to the 15 we touched upon, and then the 10 feet extra in length. Pass intercepted by Shank, and it's cleared to neutral ice, broken up by Basigio. Rolled the puck ahead Freer, and that is offsides. And play is whistled down. Let's send it down to the Aeros bench, and Rob Dobson and Dauber, it looks like a minute into it. It will take a feeling out process for this larger ice.
Yeah, it will, Adam, and I think that one thing that benefits the Aeros more so than the Dragons is we've got the, I guess, the good knowledge of Dave Tippett. You know, Tippett played a lot of international hockey with the Canadian Olympic team, and a lot to do with an ice surface this size. And he came in and set up a few things that they tried to do with the Olympic team that were beneficial for them, that he's trying to install in us tonight. And we think it's going to be beneficial, but as you said, it's going to take a little bit. I know the guys just come back to the bench with, geez, there's so much room out there. We were open all the way, but they don't see it usually, so it's going to take a little while to get used to, but I think we'll be all right near the end.
Dauber, quickly, were you surprised 8 seconds in a fight?
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised by the fight, Adam. I'm more so because of who was involved. I know Laforge does a lot of that in his day, and it was kind of expected with the way things went last night.
Thank you. Hockey is in the Arrow end. We're down to 3:44 left in the major. Laforge, and the puck is picked up by Bill Bowler. He'll scamper back to his own line and start the rush up. Bowler carries out at center, across the line, trying to feed Freer, and that's shot away and out at center ice. Warwenka trying to skate around Miller. Puck came to the boards. Bowler trying to gain the line, and that's shoved away, and the Arrows made a bad change. Here's Chabot coming in, then Shank leveled Chabot, and a penalty coming up to Daniel Shank. And Shank calling over for some assistance to Chabot, but I think a penalty is coming up charging to Danny Shank, and Chabot is still not getting up.
I think he could have the wind knocked out of him. He collided very heavily with Daniel Shank. They're both going for the loose puck, and Daniel Shank lowered the boom on Frederic Chabot, and I believe he got the wind knocked out of him. That is a huge part of that Arrow hockey team. Frederic Chabot leading that Arrows defense. It's going to be interesting. Is it a 2-minute call, or do you make it a 5-minute major? Freddie Chabot is not getting up. He is still down on the ice. And it was a turnover and then a race. It was a race for a loose puck. And once this turnover happened, there was a race between Daniel Shank and Freddie Chabot, and they both come flying out, and then they collide, and the shoulder gets up on Freddie Chabot's mask area. Here's a reverse angle. You can look at Daniel Shank, and he's a big guy. He's 205 pounds going into Freddie Chabot. On a good day only weighs 175 pounds, especially with all the playing time. He's likely losing more weight. Well, it's nice to see that Freddie Chabot is going to get up, but that's lowering the boom on Freddie Chabot.
You don't feel that Shank, do you feel that Shank could have hit the brakes there? Well, from that angle, it's hard to, I mean, you hate to see a goalie get roughed up, and especially coming from a player like Daniel Shank that has the label as a kind of player like that. But looking at that replay, I'm wondering if really Shank had any other options.
Honestly, because I am a former goaltender, I got to say they were going for that loose puck, and that's a close call because Daniel Shank could not stop in time. Let's be honest. Daniel Shank could not put on the brakes. They were racing for that loose puck. He was going for it, and then
where could Shank go there?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great angle looking down. Daniel Shank really had nowhere to go, and he's going to end up getting 2 minutes anyways. A huge point for the Aeros, and now they're on the 5-on-3 for 2 minutes.
I mean, you hate to see a goaltender in any situation get run, but in a situation like that, I don't think he was run. And so the Aeros catch a big break. They're going to get a 2-minute, 2-man advantage. Puck put into the zone. Here is Warwenka. Give it to Lamb. Back to Warwenka. Left point, getting set. Tossed it back. Lamb to Bill Bowler. 1.5 remaining in the 2-man advantage. Here's Warwenka, the drive. That was blocked and cleared. And Racine gave LaRose a pretty good two-hander right in front. That's more of a penalty than Shank's was. Here come the Aeros. Bowler hooked on the play, and it drew him off sides, and play whistled down. Very chippy start to this hockey game. 2.5 gone in the first period, no score. There's a minute 21 left in the minor to Shank. 2:35 left in the Laforge major. And with 1:21 left after that, It's a score will power play, and that two-hander there by Bruce Racine could have very easily been a minor penalty.
Well, you can see the physical play in front of the net. The San Antonio Dragons, very tough for the Aeros forwards to stand in front of the net. They're very physical defensively.
Bill Bowler sets up on the power play. Bowler moving into the circle, getting set, centered. Here's a chance. The puck was blocked. Bowler fished it out, heading behind the net. Puts it to Conroy. Back to the line, Rowanka. Hands it to Conroy. Rowanka to Lamb. 55 left in the two-man advantage. And Bowler had to go back and fish it out along the boards. Bill Bowler. Here's the shot right on. Stopped by Racine. Another chance. Here's the shot. Stopped by Racine on Bowler, and play whistle down. And now Racine comes up fighting. And here we go. We've got a big scuffle as Conroy jumps on Rennie Chapdelaine. That was precipitated from last night.
Well, they were both at each other last night, and this is just no different. A couple good saves by Bruce Racine. The Aeros could not poke in the loose puck, and then he got up fighting. He thought that he had it covered, and the Aeros were taking liberties on him. So he got back up with his gloves up high in the air, and this game is taking a lot of the same look of last night with the 102 penalty minutes. Very physical play. A couple good chances for the Aeros here. Very good puck movement. They're trying to get Darcy Warenka with the one-timer. There's the open shot for Bill Bowler, and Bruce Racine dives over. A couple Aeros jabbing at it. Bruce Racine took exception to that and gets up fighting, and so does Rennie Chapdelaine. And they're going at it hard here, and what a great diving save. Perfect angle to look at. Bruce Racine diving over, and then the pushing and shoving afterwards. I think we could see a lot of this tonight. Just a lot of this, and then now Conroy with Rennie Chapdelaine carryover from last night.
Well, a moment ago, while Bill Bowler was cleaning up the ice, Bruce Racine left his net and went after Bowler. I don't know if Bowler said something to him or what, but Racine left his net and went after Bowler, and you know, this game right now is taking on all kinds of makeup to be an ugly one.
Well, ugly physically, and the one thing that Dave Tippett wants to do is keep his troops cool, and I'm sure Jeff Brubaker wants to do the same. They don't want to see this game get out of hand. Bruce Racine just took exception. He made a great save there, diving. He took exception to the poking going at him. You know, Rob Dobson made a great point about Dave Tippett. You know, playing on Olympic ice, he has a lot of experience on this side of the ice.
Quickly, we send it down to the Aeros bench, and Rob Dobson. Dobber, what's going on down there?
A lot of emotions carrying over from last night, Adam. I think, you know, having played with Bruce, he's a pretty high-strung character. I think he saw what happened to Littman last night, maybe, and already the shot on Freddie. Maybe he thinks we're trying to get back him. But, you know, we have every right to go into the crease to get that puck, and I think they just took liberty on it.
Thank you. Puck is shot back into the Aero end.
Number 11,
Even minors out of all that, so the Aeros will stay on the 5-on-3 power play. Lamb gaining the line. He will cut it over to the left side. Warenka, he'll set up on the two-man advantage, which has 22 seconds left in it. Lamb top of the slot. Lamb getting set. Cuts it over to Warenka, but he couldn't get a shot away. Now Lamb bounced it back over to Rowanka. 10 seconds left in the two-man advantage. Here is a pass for Freer. Cuts to the slot, drifted it back. Lamb still getting set. Here's a chance. Lamb winding, shooting. He had too much loft on it. Two-man advantage is over as Shank comes out of the box. 5-on-4 power play for a minute 10. That's left in the major to Laforge. It's a score at will penalty. Puck was centered into the skates of Freer. Couldn't get a shot away. And heads up, Loach will golf it up over the glass and into the crowd. 1:01 left in the major to Marc Laforge. 4 minutes gone in the first period. No score, and a wild start to this one.
to the Alamodome information.
Fans, Aeros season tickets aren't the only way to watch the fastest game on ice. You can bring your church group, your employees club, your softball team, or any squadron of 20 or more for an evening of fast-paced Aeros hockey action. Call 627-AERO for details. Houston Aeros Hockey, sports the way it ought to be.
Basically the same game that we had last night. Very physical, very chippy. I wonder if it's going to carry on for the 60 minutes. You could have a couple two tired hockey teams. San Antonio, this is their third game in 3 nights. Actually 4 games in 5 nights.
Here's a puck in the San Antonio end, and physical play continuing as sticks are getting high once again. Freer, a heavy hit from Shank. Puck is picked up by the Aeros. Marc Greig tossed it back. Basicio cuts it down. Greig shooting. Racine saving. Loose puck banged out at center ice. Basicio back to his own blue line. Basicio gaining the line. Handed to Greig. He'll shoot it wide of the net. Picked up Freer. He overskated and Shank will clear it down the ice. 25 seconds remaining in the major to Laforge. And Hurlbutt will go back to play. Hurlbutt gaining the line. Oh, and hit a skate. That is offsides, and they'll bring the face-off all the way back down into the Aero end. Nearly 5 minutes gone in the first period. A scoreless hockey game. And Dave Tippett likes the way his team has started.
Well, they've had a couple very good chances on Bruce Racine. Bruce Racine's been very sharp early on. Dave Tippett has just done a wonderful job with this Aero hockey team.
How much of this game plan do you think is part of Jeff Brubaker wanting to get the physical presence and establish that his team will not be intimidated?
Well, he has not been happy with his team's play of late. Talking to him before the game, he said, hey, our team, the only way that we can win, the Dragons need to play physical. And if they play physical, they seem to have a lot of success, but they have to play physical smart. Last night, 7 power play for the Aeros, and they stuffed 3 in the net. No, it's going to be tough winning games for the Dragons that way.
We saw the Chicago Wolves go after Marc Lamb in a hockey game, and it got him down early when the Aeros paid him back on the power play. Here, the Aeros haven't really generated much in the power play on the offensive side, but when you keep a team down for this length of time, it's tough to get established. We'll see if the Aeros now playing 5-on-5, and this will be the most we've seen 5-on-5 because it only took 8 seconds before this first power play. So we're back at even strength, and a lot of credit goes to the Dragons for killing off this 2-man advantage and not allowing much. And here's a Ron Hoover out at center ice, flipped the puck into the Aero end. Ron Hoover making his debut. This year he's sat out the whole year with an injury.
Well, he had the broken leg. This is his first game back. You know, they're looking big things from him. He's a hard worker, hard-nosed guy as well. Jeff Brubaker type of player.
Here's Bill Bowler out at center, cuts the pass for Valasevic. He'll move it down the left wing. Tied up by DeSantis. Scott Hollis is in there. He's hemmed in along the boards. Townsend grappling forward. He digs it out. Graeme Townsend along the wall. Hands it down to Valasevic. Cutting in. Shoots. Racine the save. The rebound cutting just wide of the net. Puck came to the boards. Valasevic tackled to the ice. Alan Leggett trying to move it along the wall. He's jammed along the boards. And the puck is cleared out at center. And now Scott Hollis and Alan Leggett getting into it a little bit behind the play, but play moves on. Here's Jakes cutting in. He centered. Yoen shoots. He scores! And they're going to say no goal. Do you believe this? Not again. Not again. Timeout on the ice. We'll sort it out when we return. We're scoreless back after this.
Houston 0, San Antonio 0. You can take a look. We're going to have a little bit of a delay. There's a crack in the glass in behind where usually the scorekeeper would be. Usually peers out through that hole, but that is cracked. I'm not quite sure if they're going to fix it or not. Well, it looks like Joe Ernst is over to the maintenance crew right now, trying to get someone to fix that. As if a hockey player went in there, a Dragon or an Arrow, they could really get hurt when that plexiglass is cracked like that. That if a big body check goes into that, that whole entire piece could come down and someone could be injured.
Well, Troy, you make the call. This is a very close call. It appeared the Aeros had scored.
Well, Mike Yeo gets the great tip in on his backhand. The puck goes up in the air. It drops in behind Bruce Racine from up in the booth here. I thought it was in for sure. There you can look. I think it hopped over. Now that is very close from that angle at whether that puck totally crossed the line. It is on that goal line for sure. But a great play by Steve Jakes to get the puck to Mike Yeo, who made the nice backhand tip. The puck goes up in the air, drops behind Bruce Racine. Let's see if it goes all the way across. Well,
I think it does.
Yeah, I really, from watching it the first time in regular action, I was positive it was over. Watching it in that replay, I'm pretty sure it was behind. The hockey stick brought it back out.
Let's send it down quickly to the Aeros bench. Rob Dobson. Dobby, there's not much you guys can do, but clearly another one that goes in.
Well, I think there's going to be a debate like the NFL to see if they have instant replay. That's 2 in a week. Unfortunately, you know, with the goal judges and the linesmen, it's a part of the hockey game. You just have to deal with it. You can't get too emotional over it. Just take the play to them the next period. I think one thing we're doing, Adam, well so far is we're driving to the net and we've got a lot of goal mouth opportunities. We just have to continue to do that.
All right. They're still tending to the glass. While they tend to all this, we'll quickly take another break. 13.5 to go in the first. We are still scoreless, and we'll be back to the Alamodome right after this.
You look at the tape that they've put over the crack there to hold that crack together. The guy doing it almost looked like an athletic trainer, like Jerry Mines from the Aeros. You know, just put a little tape on it, cover it up, you'll be fine.
Well, I'm almost afraid that it's going to block his view, but it obviously with it not there didn't help him on the last no goal.
Oh, tough crowd up here. Yeah, you are correct there. I really felt that was in. I really felt that was in. And that doesn't look like it's going to block his vision. He might have to duck under it, but just a tough call for the Aeros. It's right there, and it's hard to tell with that hockey stick. And I'm pretty sure that is far enough behind him that that red light should have went on.
Well, we were talking to Rob Dobson while in the commercial break, and he made a great point. Says this is too bad that the Aeros have had 2 calls in 7 days like that. But it kind of bounces back after the one we touched upon from last night, because the Dragons clearly had scored last night. That was called away. We're back to action, and the puck is out at center ice, and Mike Yeo brings it through the neutral zone, and back to play. It is Sean Reed, forecheck by Yeo, and it's cleared to neutral ice and back at Aero territory. Will Lincoln lost an edge, down he went, but Basijo's there to help him out. We're 7 minutes into this first period. We've seen a little bit of everything outside of a goal. Scoreless. Shots are 7-0 at this point in favor of the Aeros, but the Dragons haven't had much to shoot yet. They've been short-handed. But now at even strength, the Aeros bring the puck in. Lamb a shot picked away by Racine. Dragons put the puck to the wall, and out at center ice, and Houston regroups. Carl Valamont, forecheck by Panalev. Handed up over to Freer. Lead pass brought in by Lamb. Lamb cutting to the left. The shot right on. Racine stopped it. And Barrie chipped it away and rolled it through the boards. Over to Grigory Panalev. Cleared to the line, not out. Held in Valamont. Long shot bounced down. Racine is there to cover up. And he will hold on. 12:21 to go in the first. Still no score.
Bruce Racine's been fairly busy early on. A couple of great quality shots against him. One thing I noticed from being up here, though, Adam, the Aeros are being very patient tonight. They're not trying to force the puck. There's not a play in the neutral zone. They're putting it back to their defense because there's so much room out on the ice. And they're trying to open up the ice even more. And they feel that then they can get those one-on-one situations, and then they'll have great quality shots on Bruce Racine.
Off the face-off. Dragons have it, and it's Sean Reed behind the net. 10-0 now the shots in favor of the Aeros, but here come the Dragons. Reed, the pass for Panalev, moves it down, give it to Brian Sullivan, shot went wide. Puck came to the boards. Here's Rennie Chapdelaine, rolled it to Panalev, cuts in, center, the shot, score! One shot, one goal, Len Barrie, and the Dragons take a 1-0 lead.
What a great pass from Panalev, setting up Len Barrie, who was breaking in from the point. Panalev was down low, and one of the Aeros missed their check. They did not go to him. He took it out front to Frederic Chabot. Panalev has all the time in the world, and he finds the wide open Len Barrie, who's not going to make a mistake from there. He puts it in past a sprawled Frederic Chabot. But Panalev has all the time in the world to make that soft aerial pass onto the stick of Lenny Barrie, who had just got one step on top of Marc Freer, got his stick open. 1-0 for the Dragons.
And for Len Barrie, it is his first goal since returning from his wrist injury, and he gives the Dragons a 1-0 lead. Puck is brought into the San Antonio end, and Sean Reed skates out with it, a pass to center from Panalev. Here come the Dragons once again. Sullivan dropped it for Barrie. Quick shot, snap behind the net. Reed tipped it to the corner. Panalev steered to Sullivan, centered a pass, but it's deflected out to center ice, and the Dragons regroup at their own blue line. Sean Reed, long lead pass, intercepted by Greig, dropped it, Basidio in, he shoots, and he hammered a bullet wide. Rebound came out in front, but Panalev was there. Ryan Sullivan put it to the boards. Dragons come out with it. Grigori Panalev, 3-on-2. Across the line, dropped it, Barrie in, couldn't get a shot away, and the Aeros deflected to neutral ice. That's the first outnumbered rush we'd seen against the Aeros. Even going back to last game, Dave Tippett feeling that his team didn't give up any outnumbered chances. Dragons, Marc DeSantis hands it down to Hoover. Stick handling it over to Barrie, a centering pass, shoveled away. Houston skating out with it to center ice, but the Dragons get it right back.
Looks like that non-goal call against the Aeros taking a little wind out of their sails. Now the Dragons are flying.
Well, the Dragons should have a lot to be flying about. They killed off a two-man disadvantage, plus a 5-minute major to Marc Laforge in addition to all that, and now they've got the first goal. Townshend, a pass, bowler, or make that lamb that was upended. Puck is cleared out at center ice. And Lonnie Loach will fire it into Aero territory. Alan Leggett going back. Justin McHugh takes it right away. McHugh cutting in, centered, the shot jammed just wide of the net. Here come the Aeros. Graeme Townshend, he'll skate it out to center ice. And Mike Yeo will turn at center and put the puck into the San Antonio end, and Sean Reed, he'll move it to neutral ice for Jason Miller across the line. He shoots, whistled wide. Puck is picked up and the Aeros come out with it. Al Conroy, quick pass to Townshend as he gains the line. Townshend cuts it to Conroy and a shot stopped by Racine, and Shank will clear to center ice for Lonnie Loach. That was stripped and the Aeros able to move it out. 9.5 to go first period. San Antonio with a 1-0 lead. Alan Leggett runs the puck into San Antonio territory. Racine misplayed it for a moment. Panalev and Alme going at it along the boards. And it's out to center. Len Barrie gaining the line. Shoots. And Chabot making the save. Panalev to the boards, and Jakes gave him a pretty good whack. And that is going to be a cross-checking minor, and the Aeros are going to be shorthanded for the first time tonight.
And now it's time for their penalty-killing unit to take them, and it's going to be Al May going off towards the box for a cross-check. I believe that was away from the play. It was not the play with Jakes and Panalev. It was Al May away from the play. I wasn't quite sure what Dragon was on, and now it's Dave Tippett's penalty-killing unit to do a job. And you look at the Dragons team, their penalty-killing unit has kept them in the game and now has given them a chance to get that 1-0 lead as they killed off that 5-minute major to Marc Laforge. Alme is going to sit in the box. He's been in a box one or twice in his career, being the leading penalty minute guy at the Washington Capitals.
Off the face-off, Dragons, Brian Glynn moving down the left side for Barrie. Back to the line, long shot by Loach, deflected wide of the net. Picked up along the boards, but the Aeros trying to clear it. They cannot do it. Jake's giving chase. He'll move it out to center ice and back to Dragon territory where Loach takes over. Puck is in open ice. Freer giving chase. You can see how wide open this game is.
Really tough for the players to jump on those loose pucks. They have to go so far for them.
Barrie out at center, gaining the line. Barrie trying to make his move. Cuts it around the boards. Here's Jason Miller behind the net. He lost it. Jakes couldn't clear it. Barrie knocked it down. Len Barrie rolled it back to the line for Brian Glynn. Pass came to Shank. Here's Barrie shooting, and Chabot, a stick save. Had to get over there at the last second. And Yeo will shoot it out at center ice and back down.
Good job by Mike Yeo to get it all the way down, and you can notice on the Dragons power play now, they're going cross-ice passes since there's so much room. They're getting very good quality shots on Frederic Chabot right now.
Marc DeSantis brings it across the line, takes his shoulder. Puck is poked to the corner. Panalev, heavy hit to Valamont. Came down to Justin McHugh at a key goal last night. Here's Barrie shooting, deflected by Panalev, and Chabot had to get a piece of it. Puck came to the boards, and Valasevic will shoot at the length of the ice.
San Antonio just moving the puck very well when they get it set up in the Aero zone, getting some very good quality shots. Aeros do not want to put the Dragons on too many power plays tonight, it looks like.
20 seconds left in the power play for San Antonio. Len Barrie hooked it down. Behind the net, Basidio took it off the boards, cleared to center ice. Giving chase was Marc, but Panalev beat him to the puck and circled back along the near side. Here comes Panalev across the line. Panalev making his move, trying to split the defense, but Chabot popped it away. Freer doing some great stick handling. He'll come out as May comes out of the box. It's 3-on-2. Lamb for May. May in on goal. Centered. Stopped by Racine. He will cover up and he will hold on. Timeout on the ice. The Dragons lead it on Len Barrie's first since his injury. 1-0 Dragons.
Our first lucky feet winner.
San Antonio 1, Houston 0. We're talking about those cross-ice passes and how San Antonio's been. Daniel Shank sets up Len Barrie. Great one-time shot. Frederic Chabot had to go from his left to his right. But the Aeros had a very good quality shot here as Al May's trying to get it across to Marc Freer, but Sean Reed stops it, puts it into his goaltender's pillows, and wisely Bruce Racine covers up.
Off the face-off, here is Mike Hurlbut, long shot. Racine stopped it, rebound, another chance. That's blocked. They bang away at a loose puck. Osborne bumped by Jakes, and another pass that was centered but covered up by Bruce Racine. 6:40 to go in the first, and a 1-0 Dragon lead is Len Barrie getting his 23rd of the year.
And they're waiting for him to break out. You've alluded to his injury. He's not played that well. It seems like he has a little jump in his step tonight. But Bruce Racine, the veteran, his last start, I was talking to Dave Tippett. He came and watched Bruce Racine on, it would have been Thursday night. Said Bruce Racine did not play well. And I think he only had 18 shots, had 7 goals against him. Looks like he's battled back fairly well. He's been very solid early on in this first period.
This is the 3rd game in as many nights for the San Antonio Dragons, and you can't take that lightly. The Aeros, I think, learned that lesson against Manitoba several weeks back. Manitoba came in riding a losing streak, came in 3rd game in as many nights from Long Beach, of all places, and for all intents and purposes really dominated that hockey game. And the Aeros know that you can't look at that. And they know how tough San Antonio plays at home. Hollis with a shot deflected by Jakes. Put it to the boards, cannot clear the zone though. Here's a puck in the corner, and Jakes had fallen on it, and play is whistled down. The Houston Aeros are bringing you a night of entertainment that'll have you dancing in the streets. Saturday, February 15th is Motown Night at the Summit. The Community Center of Houston proudly presents the music of Motown, featuring the sounds of the Four Tops, Marvin Gaye, the Supremes, the Temptations, and much more. So just pick up your tickets at the Summit box office or any Ticketmaster outlet. The Houston Aeros and the music of Motown. There ain't nothing like the real thing. Puck is put into the arrow end. Puck is put on the boards, and here is Marc Freer. And the Aeros come out with it, Werwanka. He gains the line. Put it to the boards. Here's Conroy, centered in front. Freer shooting, and there was Racine saving, and they'll hold on.
Nice pass by Al Conroy to set up Marc Freer, but it was Daniel Shank chasing Marc Freer down, not allowing him to make a very quality shot against. Watch this pass by Al Conroy. He just throws it back out to Marc Freer. He's being hounded by 34 in the white jersey, Daniel Shank. He's getting whacked and whacked, and he just cannot make a quality shot on Bruce Racine. And Daniel Shank doing it on the other end defensively also.
No excuse to lose the weight you want. Go by Full Life today. Full Life Health and Fitness Center is the official
Face off to the left side of Bruce Racine, and Miller and Conroy tossed out of the circle. So Lonnie Loach and Marc Freer will take the draw. Here's David Harlock. Put it to the boards, out at center. And Basidio going back. Puck is taken back by Shank, gaining the line. Shooting, and the puck deflected. And Conroy turns it around. Here's Al May trying to fish it through skates. Shank going back, pass intercepted by Werwanka. And now Freer trying to roll that puck ahead for Werwanka. Dragons turn the puck around. Miller moves it to center ice, just missing Lonnie Loach. Loach catching up to it with a shot, and Chabot the save, and he'll hold on to it with 5:04 to go. In this first period, 1-0 Dragons lead it.
Lonnie Loach showing his speed down the wing. Darcy Warenka had pinched a little bit. Dragon, I believe it was Daniel Shank, just fed the puck all the way across the ice and let Lonnie Loach skate into it. He ended up making a very hard shot across. Ended up being Jason Miller making the pass, but watch this hard shot and Freddie Chabot. You know, the one thing that amazes me about Freddie Chabot is on shots like that, it's a routine save. He just drops down. There's nowhere for Lonnie Loach to put that puck other than into the breadbasket, into his stomach area. That's why he has so much success.
And that save anything but routine.
Yeah, well, on a hard shot, a very good shooter, Lonnie Loach.
Puck is in the Arrow end, and Hurlbut will turn it around for the Arrows. And a pass just missing Mark Lamb. And the Dragons trying to clear. Hurlbut jumping up the left side, but it's taken back by Mark DeSantis. And he'll regroup at his own end. 4:45 to go in this first period. A 1-0 Dragon lead. Then Barrie getting the goal. Hurlbut going back. Takes a hit from Barrie. Puck to the boards, and the Arrows jump out with it. Guy LaRose, lead pass for Lamb. Across the line, here comes Valamont. That is offsides. Play whistle down. We will take a timeout. 4:30 to go in this first period, and the Dragons 1-0. .430 to go in the first period. Dragons lead it by a score of 1-0. Stay with us in the first intermission. We'll send it to the Fox Sports Clubhouse. And then we'll have highlights and stats all from this first period. Lots of highlights, a lot of fireworks.
Well, there has been a lot of great goaltending. Both goaltenders had to be very sharp. But I think that goal that was disallowed is a big turning point for this Arrow hockey team in that first period.
Puck is put out at center ice, and Hurlbut jammed it into the Dragon zone. Brian Glenn pushed it to the line. Valamont, I thought held it in, but the linesman Kevin Mallon says no. You know, you talk about that goal, and the other thing I was noticing is where the referee was. I mean, he was about the half boards trailing the play. He should have been a little further down, I would think.
Well, he's supposed to be down below the goal line, and Joe Ernst just did not make it down there quick enough. He was up by the hash marks, and that's very, very prudent of you to notice that, Adam, because he's supposed to be down behind the goal line. He was not in position, but the goal judge is another guy that's right there that could have turned on the light.
DeSantis turning in his own end, and San Antonio trying to skate out of their own end with it. Poked out at center, and Valamont is there. Here comes Lamb. Gentle pass, knifed away, and the Arrows gather it in. That is offsides. The face-off brought back once again to center ice.
And Mark Lamb, who just played his 850th game pro in Utah, he's been the catalyst. He's been the most consistent Arrow. You can just look at his numbers in the last 11. He has 9 points, and look at all those shots and assists, points. He's just a leader on this Arrow hockey team. And the one thing, he's played 120 games with the Arrows. Well, how many points? 120. That's pretty consistent. Point a game guy. So you cannot have enough of those guys on your hockey squad.
Off the face-off, Arrows have it. And it's Dave Basigio. Sends it over to Darcy Warenka, and he hoists it into the San Antonio end. And it's knocked down, and another offsides call.
Almost seems like the Arrows are anxious to get in there because they know on dump-ins from the defense, they have to jump in on that puck. And I think Dave Tippett's team's just a little too anxious to jump on those loose pucks. They have to wait till that puck crosses the blue line. They're just a little anxious right now to get those loose pucks.
A 1-0 San Antonio lead, 3:40 to go in this first period. Puck is picked up by Basigio. He'll steer it over to Warenka. Chipped it to center ice. Here comes Marc Greig down the right wing boards. That's pushed by Harlock. Battle on the boards, picked up by Bowler, shoveled it over. Here's a long shot by Basigio, bouncing wide of the net. Harlock gathers it in, and it's shot out at center ice. Justin McHugh, cross ice pass, Hollis in on goal. Shoot, Chabot save, rebound. Chabot save, rebound. He'll hold on there, and then Chabot comes up to say something to Scott Hollis.
There's stuff going on all over the ice. Marc Greig was up in the neutral zone. He was dancing around. Then we had all the great action in front of Frederic Chabot. action all over this Alamodome ice surface tonight, and Freddie Chabot had to be so sharp on Hollis as he drove in there with a couple beauties. And it all starts from behind the play. And that's it. Well, that's what we were saying last night. You know, physical play. Harlock taking Greig and taking off his helmet. Greig was not too happy at that whatsoever. Then the play ended up coming back down on Freddie Chabot, but it starts with that physical play down the far end of the ice, and it was Dave Harlock on Marc Greig who had that physical play, and it looks like Marc Greig decided to retaliate, and he's going to be the guy that's sitting in the box for 2 minutes. And then here he goes over here, and this is where it all happens. You just can't do that after Harlock had made the pass, and then he did the second whack also. No, he was not penalized for that first hit, and that was a late hit. And then it was the second whack, and Joe Ernst was right there. He's saying, hey, I let you go with one. I'm not letting you go with the slash. Come on, Marc.
And Gregor made it even easier. He waited until the referee, Joe Ernst, was right by him so he could see it. You can see it in the replay. The referee was right there. That's a no-brainer there. Here's Len Barrie, a cross-ice pass, just out of the control of DeSantis. He'll regroup it back to the line for Sean Reed. Scooped it for Barrie, cutting in, fakes the shot. Here's Shank, who center one and went through the crease, and Freer jumps on it to clear it down the ice.
San Antonio does not want to shoot that puck from the point on the power play. They want to work it down low with all that extra room, and obviously with the skill like Shank and Barrie and Loach out there, they want to work it down low. They don't want those long point shots.
Here come the Dragons. Loach reaching for it. It came back to the line for Daniel Shank. Shank trying to push one to the boards for Sean Reed. Reed rolling along the wall for Lonnie Loach. Base of the circle in the arrow end. 1:08 to go on the power play. Sean Reed tees it up, shoots it wide. Rebound picked up by Jakes. Put it to the boards for LaRose. Can he clear it? No, but Lamb will. Right down the ice.
And that's why you don't want those long shots from the point, because the Aeros can jump on those loose pucks very quickly with this large ice surface and shoot it all the way down.
Here's a pass out at center taken back by Mark Lamb. And Guy LaRose trying to turn a neutral ice. He fell, and the Dragons come back. Barrie dropped it for Shank. Shoot! Chabot a save through traffic as he had Brian Glenn kind of draped around him, and he made the save, and he holds on with 1:48 left in the first. 1-0 Dragons lead it. 38 seconds left in the power play for San Antonio.
It was a great save by Freddie Chabot. Tons of traffic in front of him. Len Barrie drops it back here to Daniel Shank. Just look at the traffic in front of Freddie Chabot. He just makes a terrific save, dropping down low and just catching it at the last moment into his glove. Traffic in front. All started back before that. Guy LaRose was hooked down. I believe it was Daniel Shank. He hooked him down and then jumped back into the play, and he was rewarded with a great shot. Joe Ernst did not think it was a penalty, so obviously he did not call it. As we talk about Freddie Chabot, you know, last 25 games, 17 wins, 7 losses, 1 shootout loss, 1.96 goals against average, 93.6 save percent. You think the Aeros are going to win some games with a save percent like that?
And they have.
Exactly. Unbelievable.
Here's Carl Valamon in behind his net for the Aeros, trying to roll it over to Freer, who wants to clear it. And here comes Conway with half a minute to kill off on the penalty. Conway gaining the line, dropped it, and Valamon overskated. Quickly picked it up on a long shot, stuck aside by Racine. Freer caught an edge, down he went, but gathered the puck back in. Mark Freer with some stick handling, shorthanded, trying to find a man to pass to. He was hauled off the play, and the Dragons come right back with it. 4-on-2. Barrie dropped it back, the shot by Loach, hammered wide, and it's back to center ice, and Daniel Shank is there. Cross ice pass, missing everybody. Presidio reaching for it. Glynn brought it in, that's offside, just as the penalty had expired. And teams are at even strength as the whistle sounds. 1:08 left in the period. Does Joe Ernst have a penalty?
He might have one on Lenny Barrie. I believe he does have one on Lenny Barrie. The linesman starting to escort him. Lenny Barrie's questioning it. He's going, hey, Joe, I didn't do that cross check.
Well, he nailed Valamon. I don't know if it was enough for a penalty. I'll have to take another look at it, but let's see if it's enough for a penalty.
Joe Ernst was in that vicinity over there. Valamont's going for the puck, and well, you can see that in the lower back area, and that's a very good call. Look where Joe Ernst is. He's in a perfect position that time to make that call. No, Carl Valmont's going for that loose puck, and Len Barrie just gave him a little bit too much of a cross check to that lower back area. Carl Valmont, who already has a sore back, I'm sure that as soon as he felt that stick hitting that lower back area, he just said, ooh, I'm going down. It's already sore. Lenny Barrie, likely not knowing that, drops Carl Valmont with a cross check.
Shots are 15-7 in favor of the Aeros, and 2 minutes up on the board to Barrie. The Aeros will get a minute 8 of it here, and 52 seconds of it in the second, pending they don't score here.
You can look at the 6 shots on the power play for the Aeros tonight. They've got the shots. They just have to find a way to get the shots into the net.
Dave Basicio skates out to center ice for the Aeros, puts it across the line, steered it over to Darcy Rowanka, cleared down behind the net for Lamb, and now Bowler sets up on the power play. Bowler to the line for Basicio. Give it to Bowler, looks in front. Townshend is in a battle in front of Racine. Here's the puck controlled. Lamb back to the line, and Basicio, give it to Lamb, cross ice pass blocked. Here's a chance, this shot stopped by Racine, rebound, kick just wide. Townshend rolled it over to Lamb, back to the line for Basicio, getting set on the power play. 28 seconds left in the period, and a cross ice pass blocked and shot the length of the ice. 20 seconds to go in this first period. San Antonio leads at 1-0. And some great forechecking by Shank and by Scott Hollis, and they are going to apparently kill off the remainder of this period. There's 9 seconds left. Lamb at center, puck fished out by Shank, and that will be the first period with 3 seconds remaining. Here is Valmont, cranks the long shot, blocker saved by Racine. As the horn sounds, and the Dragons with a 1-0 lead.
It all started from when the Aeros could not score, when they had the 5-on-3, and then they had the 5-minute power play. They had some shots, they could not score. Then the first shot from the Dragons goes past. Physical, a couple nice saves by the goaltenders. Nice goal by Panaleyev and Barrie, a passing play. So the fans enjoying it here in San Antonio and in the Alamodome, the spacious Alamodome.
The seating here is more conducive for basketball, really more conducive for football. It's more that it's a flatter seating structure here, but it's not as bad as I have seen in some other rinks. The seating here at least doesn't have any blind spots, and the fans, it removes you a little bit from the game the higher up and the further back you go, but it's actually not too bad.
No, it's not. And just previous to seeing these 2 beautiful young girls on the screen, we had a shot of the curtain. And in behind that curtain area is another ice hockey rink. In behind that curtain, there's another ice hockey rink. They could play 2 games if they wanted here. Tonight, they're letting it be a roller rink as the Dragons are letting the public skate tonight on the ice surface. And they said, well, if you're not a skater, we have a roller hockey rink behind that curtain where they can play ice hockey and people can rollerblade. So it's a beautiful shot, and there's the other side. You can see the boards are up on the other side, and they have pipes underneath there that they can play ice hockey on. I mean, you talk about spacious, and there's approximately 65,000 seats in this building. An amazing facility, and that's in behind that curtain. There'll be some people back there tonight as they'll be rollerblading, and watch this coming down the tunnel. The players got to do this walk, and you can just see how lengthy that is, and the players have another jaunt just as long as this one.
I feel like I'm at the David Letterman show with all this camera work.
Unbelievable.
There's Ski, our camera guy. Good job, Ski.
Someone go down there and give him a glass of water after all the work he's just walked around.
He's done. He can put his camera away for the night. Good work there. The work is far from done for the Aeros. They've got 51 seconds left on their power play. They trail 1-0. And the Aeros defending the goal to our right. The Aeros trying to attack the goal, defended by Bruce Racine, who had a very good first period, including a very emotional one as well.
Well, he got physical, but he also stopped 17 of 17 Houston Aeros shot, playing very well.
It is Marc Lamb to start playing the second period. Here comes Greig, carry across the line. It was dropped back and intercepted. Here is Loach busting down the left side. Loach cutting in, looks in front, tried to center it, stays with the puck. Lamb's got him tied up along the boards, and it's fished out by LaRose. Can't clear the zone.
20!
Aeros going back. Here is Hurlbutt, and he'll move it up the ice. Hurlbutt skates it up and out at center, drills the puck in and heads up that all the way over the glass. And luckily there weren't a lot of fans in that portion of the building, and it didn't hit anybody.
Well, he was lucky that he dumped that into the cheap seats. There's not too many people back there. That was a blistering drive right over the glass.
Freddie Chabot stopping 6 of 7. His counterpart, though, as you mentioned, Bruce Racine, a terrific first period with 17 saves.
He seemed to move very well in the net. You know, you talked to Dave Tippett, he said that his movement struggled on Thursday night against Kansas City. He just did not move well in the net. Well, tonight he corrected. I think he only had 18 shots that whole entire game. Tonight he's already had 17 in the first period and has denied all 7 of them. 17.
Well, last year while playing with the Peoria Rivermen, he had a very good stretch until all of a sudden he got called up to St. Louis because of the Grant Fuhr injury, you might recall, and all of a sudden he was pressed into duty. And that hurt the Peoria Rivermen's chances. They did very well. They beat Milwaukee in the first round, and they did it with Andre Rasico, guy backing up in Kansas City. Here's a quick shot blocked by Hurlbutt, and Jake's going back, can't clear. Penalties over, teams at 5 aside. Dragons lead this game 1-0. Len Barrie popped the puck over to Brian Sullivan, cuts it down for Barrie. He centered a pass, just missing Sullivan. Jumped on by David Harlock. He tried to center one. Puck is chipped down. Jake's fishing for it, rolled it along the boards. And it's centered. Sullivan, the backhander. That was hooked just wide of the net. Puck came in front. They score! I think Barrie just got his second of the night, and it is a 2-0 lead.
Well, Lenny Barrie was behind the net. It almost looked like he banked it off Frederic Chabot's left leg as he came around from behind the net and did the old stuff-a-rama. Mike Hurlbutt was behind him trying to chase him and whack him down. Just could not get to him. It was after a missed drive by Sullivan. Len Barrie jumped on the loose puck. And after he jumps on that loose puck, he brings it around. And well, he doesn't bank it off Freddie Chabot. He just threw it across the ice. Freddie Chabot did not realize that Len Barrie had it behind there. Excellent play by Len Barrie just to bring it up front and throw it on net.
Puck is in the arrow end. Here's a weak backhander stopped. Vecchio can't clear. Here's another shot. Chabot stopped it. And the Aeros poke it to center ice. Here comes Justin McHugh busting in across the line. That's shoveled away by Al May, and the Dragons get it right back, and then he is hauled down by Al May, but play moves on. DeSantis back at his own end. Forecheck by Freer. Scott Hollis bangs the puck ahead for Osborne. Puck goes into the arrow end, and Chabot will slow. Darcy Werwenka put it up to center ice for Al Conroy. It's taken by David Harlock and an offsides call, and play whistled down with 2.5 gone in the second period. A 2-0 Dragon lead.
And Al Conroy's played very well of late. Dave Tippett's been very pleased with his play. He's been pleased with a lot of people on his squad, especially his defense, his total defensive effort on this Aero hockey team. They're second in the IHL in goals against, and this is a play. It's a missed shot. Freddie Chabot cannot find the puck, and Len Barrie jumped on it very quickly, and with that backhand used his length of his stick and his length of his arms and wheeled it back around and threw it underneath Frederic Chabot as he could not go from the top of his crease back down to that left post quick enough.
Here is Mike Yeo trying to fish one out in front. And Loach will bring it to center ice for Chapdelaine, busting in around Valamon. He's in, and a shot hit the side of the net. Chapdelaine had it rolled away by Alan Leggett. Loach hammered Yeo to the boards, and Yeo retaliated right in front of the referee, Joe Ernst. And that'll put Yeo in the box, and the Aeros will be down a man for 2 minutes.
Not a wise penalty by Mike Yeo, as Joe Ernst was right there. You know, Joe Ernst has made himself in a position tonight to make some very good calls. Obviously, he missed that one on the goal, but for penalties, he's been right there. Lonnie Loach gave a good hard shot to Mike Yeo. Mike Yeo retaliated with that punch in the back of the head, but watch this drive. He could not get the shot on goal as he was trying to wheel around. Could not, and this is the penalty here. This is a good, clean body check. There's nothing wrong with that body check whatsoever. And Mike Yeo gives him the tap in the back of the head. Joe Ernst was right there, ended up calling him 2 minutes for roughing.
So the Dragons, who have opened up a 2-0 lead in this period, now go on their power play for the third time tonight. And the Aeros win the draw, and they shovel it the length of the ice. Miller, Shank, Loach with Glenn and Barrie at the points. Here comes Len Barrie skating out at center ice. The pass deflected away. Lamb giving chase across the line, sized up by Glenn. And San Antonio back to play, and Len Barrie scooped it over to Loach. And he'll cycle it back down. Lamb giving chase. He'll be the first one there. Marc Lamb putting it along the boards, and Len Barrie with some stick handling to get through traffic. Here come the Dragons out this center ice. Loach had it shoveled away. Bowler trying to advance it, but it was picked up by Len Barrie. Dragons carry across the line. Barrie a pass down for Loach. Hooked it over to Daniel Shank. Back to Len Barrie in the left point. Power play down to a minute 4. Shank to the line for Barrie. Shoots, deflected. It was stopped by Chabot. Puck in front of the shot. Backhanded wide of the net. Bowler jumps on the puck. He'll bring it out at center ice. Trying to skate through Barrie. He does. He was grabbed by Loach and had to do some stick handling. Has it frozen along the boards, and the Dragons take it away. Jason Miller giving it to Lonnie Loach. Back to Miller across the line. Takes a hit from Hurlbut. Aeros trying to come out with it. Balasevic moving it up the boards. Glenn able to shade him off the puck, and the Dragons go back.
Excellent job by Mike Hurlbut to stand his ground on the blue line, forcing the turnover to let Rob Balasevic shoot it down past the opposition blue line.
Dragons lead 2-0. 22 seconds left to the penalty to Yeo. And it's Mark DeSantis. Nice pass for Justin McHugh, moving down the board. Centered a pass, blocked by Hurlbut. Second effort centered. And the Aeros cleared down the ice, and that'll do it for the Dragon power play.
Mike Hurlbut once again having another strong effort. He's done it on the defensive side, and now he's starting to pick up his offensive play. He's played very well for Dave Tippett of late.
Scott Hollis out at center, gaining the line. Hollis trying to move down around Basicio. Dave forced him wide behind the net. Hollis put it to the corner. Puck came along the boards, and there was DeSantis pinching. Dug out by Basicio, poked it to the wall, and it's up and out at center ice. Freer tossed it back, and Basicio is there. Dave Basicio, rink-wide pass off the stick of Yeo. It goes down into the San Antonio end. Sean Reed poked it to the wall, nearly intercepted by Conroy, and the Dragons shoot it down the ice. This will be an icing call where Wanka goes back, and icing is the call. 14:22 to go in the second period. Dragons lead it 2-0 back after this word from Southwest Airlines. Dragons with a 2-0 lead, and we send it down to the Aeros bench. Rob Dobson, Dauber, what was talked about in the intermission?
Well, Tibbs had a couple points. You know, one, he didn't think we were getting the puck to the net well enough on our power play, and also we had to make sure we closed our box at him. Our box got a little bit too big, thus we allowed a lot of cross-ice passes, which you don't want to give a team like this. You want to kind of force them to shoot from the point.
Is it easier, or I mean, is it tougher to clamp down defensively with your game plan on a large ice?
Well, I think it is a little bit, because you don't want to, you know, really, Adam, I think that what we've done tonight so far is we put a little bit too much emphasis on the side of the ice and gotten away from the way of playing the game we should be able to, and we have to concentrate more on that, you know, taking care of our own end and taking care of our chances at the other end, what we haven't done so far.
All right, thank you. It's an excellent point. A shot by Chapdelaine goes in, they score! It was deflected. It went behind Chabot. It's 3-0 San Antonio.
Well, was that point shot? Once again, Rob Dobson just alluded to it. The point shot from Chapdelaine. I'm not quite sure if it was a Dragon player that deflected it or if it went off Freddie Chabot's right leg. It was a long shot on Freddie Chabot from Chapdelaine. And of Layoff getting his visor cleaned off here. The long point shot from Chapdelaine. It ends up just trickling by Frederic Chabot. It's hard to tell from there which player tipped it in. But Chapdelaine had the big drive from the point to cause it no matter what.
Number 14, Sully Brian Sullivan.
So it's 3-0 San Antonio, and here come the Aeros at it center ice. Mike Yeo put the puck in, and this is an interesting stat. The Dragons with 11 shots on goal, 3 of them have scored.
You usually don't see that against Frederic Chabot at all.
No, he doesn't look like the Frederic Chabot we have seen. Hard to get on a guy, though, that's played the way he has. You're going to have nights where it just you don't get the bounces, and so far he hasn't gotten the bounces, but he also has one thing in his favor, and he knows this team, the Aeros, have a propensity of coming back. They're offsides here, and they'll bring a face-off out at center ice.
It lends me to believe, you know, this is Freddie Chabot's first time on this ice surface, and I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing about the ice surface, but being a former goaltender, I think the first time you're on a big ice surface, it's very difficult. Look at Bruce Racine, the other end. He struggled his first game on this ice surface on Thursday night. He could not find his angles. It tends me to believe maybe it is tough for both goaltenders to find their angles, but the experience of Bruce Racine of already being on this ice surface, he's learned from his mistakes in his first game. You know, and Freddie Chabot, this is the first time that has seen this large ice surface.
Off the face-off, Aeros jump on a loose puck. Conroy a backhander wide of the net. May digs it out, put it behind the net. It cuts over to Marc Freer, tossed it back down for Al Conroy. Conroy setting up, center to pass for Freer. Backhander steered aside by Racine. Freer in behind the net. Dug out by May. Heavy hit along the boards. Here is Freer trying to move out in front, and Lonnie Loach takes over, and he'll poke it out to center ice. Alan Leggett. Watched by Jason Miller, and Miller takes him down to the ice. Loach poked it away. It came out in front. Here's Glenn, the drive upstairs, and that hit. Chabot made the save, and he will hold on. We'll take a break. 12:25 to go. Second period. It's all San Antonio. Dragons lead this hockey game 3-0. And a face-off in the circle to the left side of Frederic Chabot. Corey Panalev hasn't had much to say tonight, but he had a lot to say last night with his offensive play.
Well, he has those tree trunks of legs, tough to knock him off the puck, and they credit him with that last shot from Rennie Chapdelaine. He was credited with the goal.
Puck put to the corner. Balasevic fishing for it in skates. And it's kicked along the boards. LaRose pinching down, trying to loop it to the corner, and he's met by David Harlock. Here's Lamb, who centered one, and it went through the skates, and it's back at center ice, and Hurlbut giving chase. Jakes put it to the boards. It's out at center. Lamb trying to jump on it. Harlock ridden hard to the boards by Lamb. Balasevic trying to dig at it, and finally we got a whistle. 11:43 to go in the second period, and it's 3-0 San Antonio.
Rob Balasevic, who's played well since his call-up from the Louisiana Ice Skaters. 34 games, 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points. He had that big 2-goal effort in Utah to help the Aeros defeat the Grizzlies last week. He seems to be fitting in well with the guys in the locker room. I had a chance to practice last week, and it's amazing how you bring in a rookie, a young guy, who's got so much enthusiasm in practice. I believe that wears off on some of the older players on the Aeros hockey team.
Mark DeSantis put the puck into the Aero end. First one to it is Panalev. Scooped it down to Brian Sullivan. He tried to center it. That was jammed away, and the Aeros come out to center ice. Greig, the pass, Basigio cuts it down. Yo, shooting, and a blocker save made by Racine. Crowd going Bruce.
The Aeros wish that they're going boo, boo.
Basigio steered it back to Darcy Waranka with 11:09 to go in the second period.
Watching Bruce Racine, I don't think you're going to see a stinker of a performance tonight, though. He looks very, very solid, very much in control of his game tonight.
Glenn Barrie steered the puck ahead for Panalev. Cuts to the slot, rolled it to Sean Reed. Long shot hit the side of the net. Puck came to Sullivan, hit by Waranka. Barrie trying to dig at it. Give it to Sullivan behind the net. Here's Barrie. Trying to skate away from Bowler. Len Barrie Just going for a little casual skate right now, and then put it to the corner. In skates, Sullivan fishing for it. There's a centering pass blocked by Basilio. Barrie again centered it and blocked once again by Basilio. Finally, it's picked up by Greig, who is checked from behind by Len Barrie. And Barrie will get a penalty, and as long as Marc Greig keeps his cool, the Aeros will get a power play.
And Len Barrie's great at that. He knew he was getting the 2 minutes, so he got right in the face of Marc Greig, trying to draw Marc Greig, maybe to give him one of those glove rubs or a shot in the head, but Marc Greig, being the veteran player, just saying, hey, I'm not going to get involved with you, Len Barrie. You know, the Aeros need to get on a power play and make something happen. They look very stale right now. They're not jumping on the Dragon players. The Dragon players are freewheeling down in their zone. So this could be a huge power play for Dave Tippett's team to get back into this game. As San Antonio has come out in this second period, the first 10 minutes, and has played very, very well. It's a cross-check to the back area on Marc Greig. That's why Len Barrie's sitting over there in the penalty box. Greig's going to get the puck here. He fights off for a loose puck, and then Len Barrie gets it down in that lower rib area. That can be very painful in the morning. Marc Greig just coming back from that ankle injury certainly does not want to get hurt again. You see the little nick on Len Barrie's nose. That was from last night's affair. No penalty on that call last night. Len Barrie was furious with Joe Ernst on that.
Well, he's in the box here, 2 for the cross check. And the Aeros a chance to try and crawl back into this thing. They trail 3-0. Here comes Mark Lamb. He'll drill the puck into the San Antonio end. Racine came out, flipped it to the boards. Shank trying to clear. It came to Harlock. He couldn't clear it. Townshend holds it in. Back behind the net. Dragons take over. And Chapdelaine will clear to center, and Shank is in, but that's a pass over 2 lines. They'll bring the faceoff back into the San Antonio end, and Daniel Shank, who one of the better short-handed guys. In fact, he leads this team with 5 this year, and you've got to watch him.
Well, you certainly do. In 1992-93, Daniel Shank had 495 penalty minutes, but he had 92 points also. That's a kind of a weird year. He was in the penalty box, but when he was on the ice, he was potent. Likely a coach's nightmare that year. I think Harold Snaps, former Vancouver Canuck, had him that year in San Diego. He's been a tough guy to coach that year. You want him on the ice.
Darcy Werwanka will set up on the power play, which has a $1:28 left in it. Werwanka lets the shot go, and he blistered a drive wide of the net. Puck came to the boards. Lamb hit by Shank. Dug out Freer, tossed it back for Werwanka. Here's Mark Lamb, gets it to Werwanka. Freer sets up in the circle, back Werwanka, one-time shot high and wide. Gobbled up by Lamb, chased by Shank, giving him a couple of two-handers upstairs, but play moves on. Pass picked up by Freer. Mark Freer sends it back to the line. Werwanka to Lamb with 53 on the power play. Darcy Werwanka shoots, deflected wide of the net. Bowler gathers it back in. Here's Bowler waiting with a puck still, looks in front, can't center it. Dug out by Freer. Freer turning, shooting, block. Loose puck. Lamb had it off his skates. Freer fed one to him, but it went to his skates. 33 left in the man advantage for Houston. Freer to May, his stuff shot going just wide. Bowler gathers it in with 25 left on the power play, and then Lamb and Shank getting after it a little bit, and then Shank with a big stiff slash. May going after him, then Chapdelaine yells at May, and I don't know what's going to come out of all this.
You talk about two-handers. Holy cow. Mark Lamb and Daniel Shank going at it with each other. The linesman trying to keep everyone separated. This is could turn into an ugly situation. Now you got Bill Bowler and Bruce Racine poking at each other, and then Al May going over there.
Now May's dropped the gloves. He wants to go with Chapdelaine. Well, Freddie Chabot now peering out. I don't think Freddie's gonna, I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Freddie's kind of shrugging his shoulders down there. He saw Bruce Racine go up and poke Bill Bowler in the back, and they were kind of whacking back and forth. Freddie Chabot just going to the blue line just in case he was needed down at that other end. Sure, he doesn't want to go down there, but you know, if the other goaltender's in that melee causing problems, that's an outman situation for the Aeros, and Freddie Chabot would not be scared, certainly, to go down there.
Well, it was a chippy start to this hockey game, but the second period got off to a decent start. Now all of a sudden, things have gotten chippy once again.
Well, it was Daniel Shank and Marc Lamb. Daniel Shank previously had given Marc Lamb a couple hard whacks on the ankle, on the wrist. You know, and that's one thing about Daniel Shank. He's with that stick. He's very physical with it.
Oh.
That gate being open.
Now look at Shank going nuts, and he may have been moved out of this hockey game.
Well, I think he's booted because that's why he's acting like that. That's the only way he'd be acting like that. He must be punted out of this hockey game.
All right, we're going to sort everything out, but first we take a timeout. Things are heating up in San Antonio. It's 3-0. The Dragons lead it.
Dragons 3, Aeros 0. I want to watch a couple of big league slashes. Marc Lamb and Daniel Shank going at it with the sticks. Two-hander there. Well, you give me one, I'm going to give you one back. And then Al May comes in, grabs him by the helmet and twists him around. Now Marc Lamb is leaving. Al May is leaving, and Daniel Shank has already left the building. So Daniel Shank going off. He was a little more adamant going off. We saw him in the penalty box area. He was not happy at all with the call, but now with those two Aeros going off, May and Lamb, a couple big holes down there for Dave Tippett. I guess you could say the same thing for Jeff Brubaker. You know, he lost in the first 8 seconds his big, tough defenseman, Laforge. Now he loses his leading point getter. And Daniel Shank is leading point getter for the Aeros out of the game now, Marc Lamb.
Well, this game is definitely turned as ugly as it was last night. But a lot of chippiness between the two clubs, and I don't know, maybe by moving guys out, that's going to settle it down. I don't know.
You know, I had a chance to talk to Dave Tippett before, and I said, hey, like, can you really feel something between these two teams? And he goes, well, it's really starting to build, and he certainly was correct. You know, last night, the first game of the year, you know, then you had last night, tonight, bunch of penalties once again. Joe Ernst trying to take control, and now he's just going to start punting guys and just say, hey, if you guys keep this up, no one's going to be playing by the end of the night.
Yeah, but how can Joe Ernst gain control of something he has no control of right now?
You know what?
Although I will give him credit, he is doing a better job tonight in trying to gain control than last night.
Exactly. That's a great point, Adam, because last night he really lost control. Tonight he's saying, hey guys, you know, Marc Lamb and Daniel Shank, you guys were whacking at each other. You know, you guys are just going to leave the game. There you can see the timekeeper down there trying to keep track. You almost got to be a mathematician tonight to keep track of all the penalties. Dave Tippett trying to get an explanation. And look at that guy with that sheet. He's going to have the double sheet by the end of the night. There's no way he's going to get all the penalties on that one piece of paper for this evening. He'll have to head back out to Office Max and get another piece of pad.
All right, let's see if we can get an update from the Aeros bench. We send it down, and Rob Dobson, can you update us on what's going on?
Yeah, Shank and Lammer got 5 and a 10 each. 5 in a game, I'm sorry, for slashing. Al May got 4 and a 10-minute misconduct, as did Chaplain. So the bottom line up the whole thing. I think, pardon me, Shank also got a gross misconduct, but that doesn't affect anything as far as the scoreboard power plays go. So the bottom line is we got a 25-second power play, and then play resumes as normal.
Do you think this physical play has taken you out of the game a little bit?
I think both teams get to. You know what, Adam, if you want the honest truth, I think this is Jeff Brubaker's style. This is what he likes to see. He likes to get us a little off our game because he knows that we're far more talented than they are, and it seems to be working.
All right, thank you very much. Puck goes into the San Antonio end. Some very candid comments.
Well, that's what you expect from Rob Dobson. That's why he's getting paid the big bucks.
That's what we want to know. Here comes Hurlbutt. Greig brings it across the line. Power play is now over. Teams at 5 aside. Puck put behind the net. Greig digging for it.
game misconduct.
Puck came down for Guy LaRose, fighting for the puck. He's jammed in along by Harlock, and LaRose tossed down. Here's a long shot, and Racine got a blocker on it. It is picked up by Marc Greig, shoveled it over to Guy LaRose. It's pushed up ice, and Panalev skates out with it. Len Barrie across the line. The pass, shooting in front of was blocked as Panalev let it go, and it was deflected in front and cleared down the ice.
And it was blocked by Mike Hurlbut. And ever since Gord Donnelly left this organization, it almost seems like Mike Hurlbut decided to take over his block-making ability.
Puck is in the Dragon end, and it's controlled by Sean Reed. He'll put it to the boards. Barrie trying to clear Kanata, was held in. Rowenka cutting down for Yo. Backhander blocked in front by Racine. They bang away at it. It was hitting a leg. Long shot deflected and cleared. Dragons have it. They'll move it up and out at center ice. And then we get a whistle, and DeSantis and Bowler going at it a little bit. And the linesmen step in to separate them. 7:03 to go in the second, and the Dragons with a 3-0 lead. Keep your kids out of the hot weather this summer and put them on ice. Sign up for the 3rd annual Houston Aeros Hockey Camp. You can join Graeme, Townshend, Rob Dobson, and other current and former Aeros as they teach your child the great game of hockey. The way the pros do it, call the Aeros office at 621-2842 for more information. To point out, if the kids are watching at home, this is not how you do it.
No, certainly not. And Rob Dobson, his comments there, totally correct that Jeff Brubaker wanted to slow down the game tonight. Dave Tippett wanted an upbeat, up-tempo game because of the large ice surface. He thought that players like Marc Greig, Bill Bowler, Mark Lamb, Mark Freer, Al Conroy are players that could really jump into the play and really be useful with that team speed that the Aeros showed last night with those great passes. Jeff Brubaker's team just not allowing the Aeros to get into their game plan.
See, the funny thing was Brubaker didn't feel the ice played a factor. He thought that everybody was making too much of a big deal about it. And he's taken the ice right out of it. He's got a 3-0 lead.
Final penalty, 12:57.
Here is Sean Reed. Put it to the boards. And the Dragons skate out with it. Here comes Panalev across the line. Len Barrie cutting in. Snap the drive. Stopped by Chabot. Rebound. Barrie cutting in, looking for his 3rd. He takes a hit from Greig. Puck came in. There's Barrie working over Greig along the boards. And into a scrum. Panalev firing his big frame in there. And Greig and Panalev go at it a little bit. By the way, Bowler and DeSantis each got roughing minors, so we're 4-on-4 for a couple of minutes. Here's Panalev cutting into the slot, rolled it to Harlock. He cuts in with a shot. Chabot stopped it, and he'll hold on with 6:12 remaining in the second period. A 3-0 hockey game.
Excellent job by Freddie Chabot to get that whistle. There was a lot of physical play. Panalev, Barrie down in the corner. Marc Greig down there. This is a pass across by Panalev to the defenseman, Harlock. He just takes that easy shot. You're not going to beat Frederic Chabot with that type of shot, but wisely covers up. The Aeros were a very tired hockey team as they were being worked down low into the corner. Freddie Chabot, who, well, it's not a great performance by Freddie Chabot, but I guess we tend to believe that he's going to every night be like a Superman in there, and it's just impossible to do.
Puck is in the Aero end. And Houston skates out with it. A long pass ahead for Hurlbut, trying to bust in, fighting for it in skates. Here comes Valasevic. He'll gather in the puck, dropped it back. Shot by Malamont, deflected wide, and there was Harlock. He skims it along the ice, and it's cleared out to neutral ice. Al Conroy circles back, hitting the line. Conroy, a long backhanded centering pass, came to Valamont. Here's a shot deflected away by Racine. It's out to neutral ice, and Valamont takes over.
Wow, does Racine ever look sharp in that net? He's not getting away from his goal crease. He's staying in there, standing tall, looking very big in that net.
Well, if you're just joining us, we've had everything tonight. Mark Lamb has just been kicked out of this hockey game along with Daniel Shank, because we've got a delayed penalty coming up to the Dragons, who lead this game 3-0. It has been a very penalty-filled hockey game, and it's going to be filled with another minor coming up right now to the Dragons. And the Aeros are going to go on the power play with 5:10 remaining in the second period.
Well, it's going to be a cross-checking minor, and it looks like Scott Hollis, who's sitting on the bench, I believe he's going to have to get off that bench He's sitting on the players bench, and he's going to go to the other bench, and that's the penalty box bench. Gave Marc Greig a cross-check in the back area. Still not moving, but Marc Greig had the puck, and just watch this cross-check into the back area, into the lower back area. That's about, I would say, the 5th cross-check into the back area on both teams, going for that lower back area. Scott Hollis, well, he's just changing benches. He was sitting on the players bench. After he did the cross-check, he went, sat down for a players change, and now he has to go over and sit on the other bench, and that's not the bench you want to be in. 2 minutes for cross-checking.
So a face-off in the circle to the left side of Bruce Racine. Aeros with 6 shots on goal in this period. The Dragons with 9. And here is Guy LaRose against Len Barrie. Yo and Reddy Chapdelaine jousting a little bit before the face-off. Scary thing about this score, Troy, is if the Aeros don't get it much closer by the middle or end of third period, it may escalate to more from what we've seen these first 2 periods.
Well, it could get real nasty in the third period if the Aeros do not close the gap here in this second period. They got a great opportunity on the power play.
Dave Basigio rolled the puck into the San Antonio end. Glynn going back, fired it to the line. It's back to center, and Rowanka will take over from his own zone. Darcy Rowanka winds it up ice across the line. Rowanka looking for a man to pass to. Rowanka from the slot, a shot in. Here is Bowler, shoots, he scores! Bill Bowler deking out Bruce Racine, tucks in the power play goal, and the Aeros within 2. It's a 3-1 hockey game.
All I can say is, wow, what a pass from Darcy Rowanka down low to Bill Bowler, and then he fakes out Bruce Racine to close the gap for 2 goals. Now the Aeros are down, but what a move by Bill Bowler down low. But this pass, cross-ice pass to Bill Bowler. Sorry, Bruce. Bruce thought he was going to shoot it quick. He came sliding over. Bill Bowler went from his backhand, went forehand, backhand, and then chopped it back on his backhand and just put it in the empty net as Lonnie Loach could not get back in time. You know, think of those Aeros now. It's only 3-1. They needed a goal, and that was a huge goal for them to try to get back into this hockey game.
4:30 remaining in the second period. Dragons lead cut to 2 at 3-1. Here they come, though. Jason Miller across the line, dropped it. Panalev shooting, deflected wide, picked up by Yo, and he takes a heavy hit from Panalev. And it's snapped out at center ice. Dragons get it back. Oh, Sean Reed overskated it. It'll go back into the San Antonio end. Marc DeSantis put it to the boards. Out at center ice, going into the Aero end. Chabot lets it go just wide of the net. It was not icing, though. Hurl, but hit by Sullivan. Dug out by Miller. Jason Miller centered. It was blocked, and the Aeros start back. 2-on-1. Bowler with Greig. Bowler across the line. Center, Greig shoots. He scores! Marc Greig and the Aeros within 1. It's a 3-2 hockey game.
Bill Bowler on the 2-on-1. Fed Marc Greig, and it almost looked like the same goal. Bill Bowler, they got the goaltender, Bruce Racine, to commit early. And once he committed early, Marc Greig just decided to go on his backhand, just like Bill Bowler did the goal before. But it's the 2-on-1 all the way down the ice. Bill Bowler, he can pass the puck. He's got great hands. Marc Greig, realizing the goaltender was committing early, decides instead of going on his forehand, go on his backhand and put it in the empty net. Great play by Marc Greig to go on his backhand. Bruce Racine just did not get set up properly, and all of a sudden it's a 1-goal hockey game.
Aeros, for the moment, looked like they were taken right out of their game plan, but have erupted for 2 unanswered goals in about a minute's time. And it's all of a sudden a 3-2 game. Aeros with the puck. Here's Basigio, the drive, deflected. It's in front, but fished out by Ron Hoover. And the Dragons come out with it. Hollis, long shot, wide of the net. Conroy lets it go up to Mark Freer. Across the line. Freer cutting in. He winds, fakes the shot. He was chased and grabbed by Hollis. Shakes off the check. Freer some stick handling. Lost the puck. Dragons turning, and they clear it down the ice.
All of a sudden, the Aeros have a lot of jump in their step. They were very slow this period. All of a sudden, now they have their legs back.
Icing the call, 3-2 San Antonio. We're on fire and back after this. 2 quick unanswered goals have the Aeros within 1 at 3-2. We sent it down to Rob Dobson. It looked like you guys have gotten back to basics.
Yeah, I think that's all it was, Adam. You looked at Ranks in the blue line. He didn't force the play. He just looked for an open man off to the side, and Billy made a tremendous play to come back against the flow on Bruce. And the second goal, about a minute later or so, we got caught on that. We thought what we thought was an icing in behind. We make a simple pass out of our own end. We catch their D coming down 2-on-1. Again, a good pass and a good play to score. So, we make simple plays at both ends of the rink, and that's what makes us so successful throughout the year, and it's stuff that we need to get back to.
Thank you very much. A long shot. Stuck aside by Racine. Steered to the boards, Loach. And it's rolled up and out at center for Keith Osborne. He put the puck to Harlock, cutting down. Now it's Osborne, shoveled it along the wall. And it's jumped on by Yo. Can he clear it? No. Here is Barrie fishing it out. Tied up by Valamon. He centered one, swatted away by Chabot. The puck jumped up on him. And play whistle down with 2.5 remaining. Second period, a 3-2 hockey game. And this charge led by Mr. Dragon Killer himself, Bill Bowler.
Well, coming into tonight's contest, he had 10 points in 5 games. All of a sudden now in 6 games, he has 12 points. He must lick his chops. He must put a big X on the calendar for the San Antonio Dragons. He's played very well against the Dragons this year.
Well, no doubt the Dragons came out in the first period and a half and were definitely breathing fire. But obviously, the Aeros must have found some flame retardant on the bench and have little fire under themselves and are within 1.
Well, his name's Bill Bowler. Little fire retardant right there.
Little fire plug. Shouldn't say little, though.
No, you better not say that.
Playing big. 3-2 hockey game. Dragons still lead this game. Here's a long shot by Hurlbut. Racine stopped it. LaRose was on the doorstep, but the Dragons were there to clear it out at center ice. Hurlbut moves it to the boards. Hurlbut takes a hit from Len Barrie, and Barrie trying to draw a penalty from Hurlbut. As the puck goes down, Racine slows it. LaRose got in there a little bit. Here's a chance in front. Conroy couldn't pull the trigger. Oh, Racine a little slow getting back, and Conroy just couldn't control the puck.
Well, he was outplaying the puck, and Guy LaRose just tapped his stick and then centered it back out. Alec Conroy just could not feed it into the empty net.
Here's an offsides call on the San Antonio Dragons, and the faceoff brought to center. 1:37 to go in the second period. A 3-2 Dragon lead.
Darcy Warenka has been working very hard tonight. He's going to get the nice soft pass. That ended up being Mike Hurlbut, and Guy LaRose. The puck just jumped over his stick. Excellent 3-way play by Marc Freer to get it back to Hurlbut to, Guy LaRose. If that puck does not jump, all of a sudden this is a tied hockey game.
Buck and a half to go in this second period. A 3-2 Dragon lead. Here's Yo at center, turning across the line, shovel the puck in. Dragons have it, and Chapdelaine moves out with it. Rennie Chapdelaine put it into this arrow end. Hustling back Panalev and Rowenka. They say Rowenka got there first for the icing call. Panalev thought he got there first. That was another cool call.
Yeah, but the linesman, was right there. He noticed that Darcy Warenka tapped that puck before. Darcy struggled a little bit offensively. Last 12 games, he has no goals. But defensively, he's really picked up his play from the start. When he came here from Quebec, it was a defensive liability some nights, and he's really picked up that aspect of his play. And Dave Tippett has really rewarded him with that extra ice time as soon as he picked up his defensive play. And lately, he's been one of the top Aeros defensemen.
Face-off is in the San Antonio end following the icing call. Bowler has led this charge back.
He's been leading the charges all year against the Dragon, averaging 2 points a game.
He'll face off against Scott Hollis, wins the drop back to Warenka, cutting down the left side, winding, shooting, it went wide of the net. DeCiccio gathered it in at the right point, scooped it down low, but it's all Dragons behind the net, and Jason Miller flushed out by Yo, staying with the puck. Yo nearly took it away. He did get it back. Yo to Greig, as we're down to the final minute. San Antonio's Hollis fired it to the wall. Greig reaching for it. Hollis steered it to center, and the Aeros get it back. Bill Bowler, center ice, flings it back to Darcy Rowank in his own end. Dave Visigio will bring it up. Long pass, controlled by Greig. Here comes Visigio. Long rink-wide pass, floats in, but Harlock couldn't clear it, misplayed. Here's a chance in front. Oh, Yo cut in front when Greig thought he was going to go deep to the net. I think it's just a slight miscommunication there. The puck is picked up by San Antonio. Here comes Scott Hollis gaining the line. Hollis centered. It rolled off the stick of Miller. Panalev reaching for it. And it's picked up by Guy LaRose. Scooped to the line, not out. And LaRose finally can skate up and out to center ice with it. 5 seconds left in the period. LaRose across the line, cutting in. Hollis rolled it away with 1 second remaining. And the horn sounds, ending a second period. Well, it was all San Antonio. They had a 3-0 lead, Troy Gamble, but Bill Bowler has led the Charges to within one at 3-2.
And all of a sudden, the Aeros seem to have a lot of life. And you have to remember that San Antonio Dragons, this is their 4th game in 5 nights. 3 games in 3 nights. You wonder if the Aeros keep that constant pressure up for the 3rd period. They might end up pulling this one out of the hat.
Our score after 40 minutes from the Alamodome. It's the Dragons 3, the Aeros 2. We'll take a timeout and we'll send it to the Fox Sports Clubhouse for those of you watching on Fox Sports. For those of you on radio, we go to the KENR newsroom. 3-2 Dragons. A 3-2 hockey game. The Dragons leading the Houston Aeros after 2 periods of play. Welcome back, Adam Gordon, Troy Gamble, and what an intense second period that was. Just when you thought the Aeros were down and out, trailing 3-0, you knew this team would at least have something to say about it, and Bill Bowler led them back with 2 more unanswered goals to draw them within 3-2.
Well, that's been their trademark all year, Adam. They've been able to battle back in adverse situations, and certainly it was really adverse when you're down 3-0 in the Alamodome, but it was Bill Bowler, donned on the cape, and once again came through against these Dragons.
Let's take a look at the Dodge game summary and recap all the scoring that we've seen this point in the hockey game. Back in the first period, Len Barrie got the only goal. It was 23rd of the year at 8:02. Grigori Panalev and Rennie Chapdelaine getting the assist. We moved to the second period, and Barrie tucked in his second of the night behind Chabot, 24th of the year at 1:32. Brian Sullivan getting the only assist. Dragons led 2-0. They led 3-0. Grigori Panalev, his 16th of the year at a 6:06. Barrie and Chapdelaine getting the assist. Dragons were cruising 3-0. And here come the Aeros and Bill Bowler. A power play goal, his 12th at 15:25. Darcy Rowank, Guy LaRose getting the assist. And then Marc Greig from Bill Bowler. Greig getting his 5th, his 2nd in 2 nights at 16:12. And the Aeros are within 1 at 3-2. But it obviously was not a great start for the Aeros in that second period.
Well, no, the Dragons came out flying, and it's this missed shot by Sullivan. The puck comes back out front. There's the missed shot. When the puck comes back out front, it's Len Barrie stuffing it around, and he just sweeps it past Frederic Chabot. And they were not done there with Frederic Chabot. As here you go once again, Len Barrie gets it out to the point. It's Chapdelaine, but it was tipped. It was tipped there by Yuri Panalev. And he's been awesome all game once again. But watch this pass down low, and then Bill Bowler, noticing that the goalie's committed, goes back to his backhand and puts it in the empty net. But Darcy Rowank made a terrific pass to send him down there all alone. And then once again, Bill Bowler coming down, leading the rush. And here he sends over the beautiful pass to Marc Greig, who's not going to make a mistake there. Once again, the goalie committed. Bruce Racine committed too early. And once the goalie does that, Adam, that gives the player a chance to make a move. And with players like Bill Bowler, Marc Greig, they're going to make moves, and they're going to put it in the empty net.
Troy, let's face it, a successful game plan to a point for Jeff Brubaker, playing physical, getting his team to maybe intimidate just a little bit. Do they continue with that? Do they maybe even turn it up a little bit going into that third period?
I think they're a tired hockey team. I think once the Aeros put pressure on these Dragons, they are very tired. They've had those 4 games in 5 nights. I think Jeff Brubaker has to simplify his game plan, dump the puck deep, make the Aeros come that whole entire length of the ice, and we know how bar it is tonight with his big ice surface, that's what he's going to want to do. Dave Tippett is going to want to just get that forecheck going, get the puck deep, and keep on getting those quality shots against Bruce Racine.
It's the third game in as many nights for the San Antonio Dragons. Perhaps fatigue might be playing a factor. The Dragons do have a 3-2 lead, and when we return, we'll look at the stats from that second period right after this. 3-2 San Antonio Dragons leading the Aeros after 2 periods of play. And let's take a look at tonight's second period stats, brought to you by your local Texas Jeep and Eagle dealers. Shots on goal, 26-16 in favor of the Aeros. 1 of 5 on the power play, Houston is. Dragons 0 for 3. And in the power play shot department, 10-9 Aeros in that department. We're already over the 100 penalty minute mark between the two teams, and the faceoffs even at 22 apiece. 3-2 Dragons lead it. Do not go away. A wild third period is due, and we'll have that right after this. Dragons with a 3-2 lead as we're ready to start period number 3 from the Alamodome. Vance Whataburger presents a Lovin' Feelings special edition concert featuring Johnny Rivers. It's Saturday, February the 8th at the Arena Theater, and it's benefiting the Houston Aeros charities. Pick up tickets at the Arena Theater box office, all Ticketmaster outlets, or by calling 988-1020. He's your secret agent man from the poor side of town, and he comes to Houston February the 8th. Buy your tickets today and help the Houston Aeros charities and Whataburger make dreams come true. Again, that number, 988-1020.
And the San Antonio Dragons, Adam, leading going into the third period. They're 21-1. And Aeros really have their work cut out for them. They are down by 1. They seem to have a lot of momentum after that second period. They need to find that momentum and keep it going. And that guy's team, you know, Jeff Brubaker, he's been able to do a very good job when his team is leading. Very good coaching job. He's got the pencil down there, diagram, and trying to find the right lines for this third period, because at the end of the second period, it was all Aeros. They were all over his Dragons team. He needs to somehow motivate his squad for the last 20 minutes.
So we're set to go with the third period of play. Freer with Conroy and LaRose, Jakes and Hurlbut defensively. And we're underway. It is Chapdelaine. Put the puck to the boards. It goes into the arrow end, and Jakes is back. Aeros with all kinds of momentum as they've got the last 2 unanswered goals. And the puck put to the wall, and back is Chabot. Swinging along the wall, LaRose. Bumped by Sullivan. And Freer skates out with it. Here comes Al Conroy through the neutral zone, hitting the line. Pass just missing LaRose. Jumped on by Jakes. Back to the line. Freer shooting, saving, Racine, rebound. And Racine covers up as Guy LaRose digging for it, and Racine will hold on to it.
Once again, looking very sharp, Bruce Racine, as Guy LaRose was in front of the net. He hit in the rebound, but it was the original shot from the point area. Oh, Marc Freer with the hard drive, and there's a rebound there. Guy LaRose has a whack at it, and the big left leg of Bruce Racine kicks out. Marc Freer got a lot of wood on that shot, and then on the backhand, Guy LaRose just not able to beat Bruce Racine as he threw out his left pad, bounced on the loose puck, and it looks like the Aeros are starting where they left off in that second period, and that's taking the play to the Dragons.
Face off right side of Racine, Bowler against Miller, and the Dragons win the draw. Here is Lonnie Loach, poked it behind the net. DeSantis will turn. And here come the San Antonio Dragons out at center. Feathered away by Basigio. Chabot comes out of the net. Oh, played it around the board. It kind of skipped a little bit on him, but the Aeros is able to get it out to center. Here's Bowler across the line. Shoots it behind the net. Racine comes out to play it. Takes a bit of a bump from Yo, but there is Miller to control and moving out to center ice. Miller gaining the line. Cutting in a centering pass. Broken up by Basigio. And it's out at center ice. Long pass brought in by Yo. That is offsides. And play whistle down. Let's send it down for an update. Rob Dobson, let's talk about the second intermission. What was talked about?
Well, Tibbs thought we did a pretty good job near the end of the period, Adam. One thing he thought we could do better was to execute away from the puck. You know, we seem to be letting some guys go. Prime example there, you know, you see Dave Basijo get back into the play and pick up a man coming late. Although he is a defenseman, we still had a forward back. So he thought, you know, to execute away from the puck was to give us more chances, and he felt that those were the reasons we got those 2 quick goals there late in the second period.
Off the draw, the puck is put into the arrow end. Thank you very much, Dobber. It is a pass out at center ice for Graeme Townshend. He'll put the puck in to the San Antonio end. Osborne going back, and up ice he will come. Keith Osborne skating out at center for Ron Hoover. A long shot deflected up over the glass and out of play. We touched upon Ron Hoover in his first game back. One of only a couple of guys that really have stayed on with the San Antonio team since the move from Peoria, and a guy that, as we said, he had the broken leg and is trying to make an impact.
Yeah, and this is his first game back in a long time. And you say he's one of the few players back. Well, Dave Harlock is one of the new players. Talk about playing on Olympic ice. Well, he was with the Canadian Olympic team and from 92 to 94 after 4 years at the University of Michigan. So this is second home to him, this big ice surface, and it's showing tonight. He's played very solid for the Dragons.
Face off, top of the circle to the right side of Frederic Chabot. And off the draw, the puck is picked up by Hurlbut. Scampering in behind the net. And here comes Freer. Up and out at center, shoots the puck into the San Antonio end. Townshend looped it down behind the net, a pass centered. Harlock was there. And Osborne moves it up, and it's out to center ice. Valamont going back to play the puck for Houston. Put the puck to the boards. Knifed away by Sean Reed into Aero territory. We're just about 3 minutes into the third period, and the Dragons with a 3-2 lead. Hurlbut puts it into San Antonio territory. And back to play it is Brian Glynn. Here, puck turned over. The Aeros with a long shot. He was seen there to make a save to hold on. And now Sullivan getting into it. And everybody getting all locked up behind the San Antonio net.
And the Aeros defensemen do not want to jump in, as if they jump in, the faceoff comes out into the neutral zone. So those 3 Aeros are being outnumbered down low, 4-3. You look at Big Sullivan there, Brian Glynn, a couple of big guys. Marc Greig was taking a few glove rubs to the face area. This whole entire shot on goal starts with the forecheck. Marc Greig has a great forecheck. Bill Bowler gives the puck to Mike Yeo, and Mike Yeo made a very difficult shot on goal, very good shot. And then the action afterwards, big Brian Glynn and Sullivan, both those guys go at 6'4", 220 pounds, a couple big guys there. Picked out Marc Greig, who was in on that forecheck, and we said that, you know, if you get that first guy blowing in there quick, turnovers happen. Turnover happened. Bill Bowler feeds it back to Mike Yeo, who made a very good shot on goal.
Face off in the circle to the right side of Bruce Racine. And off the face off, the Aeros had it, but it was stripped by Panalev, cleared out at center. Houston back to play. 3-2, San Antonio leads it. Just about 3 minutes into this third period. Al Conroy couldn't play it. It would have been a 2-line pass. So San Antonio takes over, but their pass finds its way back to Basijo in Aero territory. Long pass. This eludes everyone, and this time it'll be an icing call on the Aeros. Is going back. Harlock to touch, and we'll take a break. 3-2, the Dragons lead it. We'll be back, but first this word from Southwest Airlines.
San Antonio 3, Houston 2. Very entertaining hockey game in the third period. Al Conroy, you talk about Mr. Consistency. Well, in the last 11 games has 10 points. But last night played in his 200th IHL hockey game. Congratulations to Al Conroy. Have that milestone, 200 games in the IHL. You talk about a fierce competitor. There's a good look at his eyes, mean-looking eyes on him.
He's been playing well, but it seems like the last couple of games I've seen an even more noticeable jump in his stride.
Well, he's skating very well. It seems like, I think it took him a while to get back. He had that injury the first game in San Antonio, you know, with that leg injury, and now he's fully recovered, and he's showing it with his skating stride.
Here come the Dragons. Sean Reed, lead pass slash Len Barrie brought into the arrow end, and Hurlbut sniffs it away. And he put it to the glass and into Dragon territory. Glenn in a race with LaRose. Who's going to get there? Oh, big collision. Glenn got there, but they both went down pretty hard, but an icing call coming up. But Guy LaRose gave it a good run.
Well, that was great hustle by Guy LaRose. He was in a foot race with a bigger, slower man, Brian Glenn, and he made a race out of it. Guy LaRose gave him a couple strides to start with, but he catches up at the end. But Brian Glenn with that long reach touches the puck first, and they both go hard into the boards. That's just good, hard hockey. Both players going for that loose puck. We see the players tapping Guy LaRose on the back of the head. They really appreciate that on the bench when players go hard for those icings. And, you know, you force Brian Glenn, who's a big man, to go back there, make a very good play with his long stick. Great play from Guy LaRose, not with the puck, but chasing down a loose puck.
Face off to the left of Chabot. And off the draw. Dragons poke it down. Here is Marc Greig. It skipped through him. Dragons hold it in. Hollis back to the point for Harlock. It was pushed along the boards. Can the Aeros clear it? Yeah, they will, but they'll regroup in their own end. Bill Bowler out at center, gaining the line. Bowler weaving to his right. Cross-ice pass. Here's Basijo in front for Greig. Oh, couldn't pull the trigger. Greig hauled down by Miller, and there's going to be a penalty on the Dragons. Jason Miller is going to get nailed for holding, and the Aeros are going to go on the power play.
What a pass from Bill Bowler all the way over to Basijo, who fed it in tight to the Aero guy, and just Miller had to haul him down. I believe it was Marc Greig. We end up hauling down. If he does not haul him down, Greig's likely going to have a great scoring chance. Miller realizing that gave him the old tuggaroony.
This starts a critical stretch for the Houston Aeros this game, as they're in the midst now of quite a few on the road, and the Aeros with the win last night and Vegas losing against Long Beach. They're tied with Las Vegas, so if the Aeros can pull this out, they'll at least keep ground with Las Vegas, but it sets them up as they head to a major part of the road trip where they're off to Manitoba for a couple games, and then they go to Milwaukee, and then wrap it up at Phoenix. Those last two games, Milwaukee and Phoenix, will be games you can see on KNWS. All games you can track on the Aeros radio stations KKHT and KENR. Check your local listings to find out if you're on the AM or the FM deck. Follow the Aeros. Freer sets up on the power play. Bowler, base of the circle, got lost sight of it, and Harlock poked it, and it's out to center. And it's back into the Aero end.
Lonnie Load shooting it all the way down, taking a little extra time off the clock, being patient with it, and then deciding to fire it all the way down the ice.
Marc Greig put the puck into the San Antonio end. Brian Glenn scooped it to the boards, and oh, here's Barrie on a breakaway. Short in and right in, shoots. Chabot with a save. A terrific save by Chabot. Here comes Conroy right back, shooting and saving as Racine. He'll hold on.
A couple good saves by both goaltenders. Bruce Racine had to be very sharp on Al Conroy, but the big breakaway, Lenny Barrie, one-on-one against Frederic Chabot. Frederic Chabot up to the task. It was the big slap shot around the glass, and it sent Len Barrie all the way in alone. He decides to shoot it. Frederic Chabot held his ground, stayed down low on the puck, and then it goes back the other way, and here's a reverse angle look at Len Barrie. He takes that shot. There's just really nowhere to shoot there. Frederic Chabot was very patient with him. He did not commit too early. Good look at Freddie. Talk about intense eyes. We've talked before about Rob Dobson and his intense eyes. Well, Frederic Chabot, he has those killer eyes also.
So a face-off to the right side of Bruce Racine. Aeros have 58 seconds left to go on their power play. Here is Hurlbut from the slot, shooting, whistle wide. Picked up by Conroy. He's taken to the boards by Harlock. Hollis scooped it ahead for Loach, and he'll skate out at center. A man to beat Valamont. Loach in short-handed, lets a shot go, and that's deflected by Carl Valamont up over the glass and into the crowd.
Very good defensive play by Carl Valmont, using his stick and angling Lonnie Loach and forcing him to shoot a lot quicker than he wants to. Carl Valmont's been playing a lot better of late. can watch this play. It's a simple defensive play. Marc Greig gives him a little help there. He keeps his stick there. He has great positioning, and then throws his stick out. He sends it over the glass. Carl Valmont, who in his last 10 has 5 points, 2 goals, and 3 assists after not getting a point in the first 19 games with the Aeros. So he's really turned it up offensively in the last little bit. There you go with those stats. Good look at Carl Valmont, who they call the Duke of Cool.
I can understand the nickname Duke, but where did they come up with the Duke of Cool?
I don't know. It was back in his first year pro. I'm not quite sure where they found that, but that is one of his nicknames.
Yeah, he's got a couple, I think. As the puck is shot back down, and Valmont's got to scamper back to play it. Here comes Mike Hurlbut. A lead pass, missing everybody, but it came down to Racine. He'll play it himself and fling it right down the ice. That should do it for the power play, which has 5 seconds left in it. Well, now we've got a penalty coming up. We've got a slashing minor behind the play. I don't know who this is on, but it could very well be on the Aeros behind the play here.
I believe it's on Marc Greig, on the goaltender of all people. Bruce Racine was bending over in pain. Now he's got his gloves off. You're gonna look at the athletic trainer. He was in a lot of pain. I don't know if Marc Greig gave him a little tap as he went by, or if he was maybe not in so much pain, but he wanted to make it look good. He shoots the puck all the way down. Marc Greig tries to tap it, ends up hitting him in the glove and into the arm protected area. Just trying to be a little too aggressive, Marc Greig, trying to whack his stick and get the loose puck, and obviously he would have been able to put it in the empty net, but Bruce Racine shooting it all the way down and then taking that slash. Now the Aeros need a big kill here, and it's going to be 4-4 for 4 seconds. And then their penalty killing unit needs to do a job.
Face off right side is Chabot. And off the draw, the Dragons have it. Brian Glynn sets up as Dragons commence their power play. Panalev back to the line for Glynn. Hooked it, Barrie, one-time shot. He shot it wide. Puck came in front, held in by Glynn. Worked it down along the boards for Lonnie Loach. Loach, the shot, wide of the net. Barrie giving chase, picked it up at a bluff point. Scooped it down low for Grigory Panalev. Jake's trying to pop it free. Panalev got it back. Panalev in, winding, shooting, and that puck caromed up over and out of play. 13:26 to go in the third period. A 3-2 Dragon lead, 1:27 left in the penalty to Marc Greig. Again, if you are just joining us, a lot has happened. Mark Lamb is out of this hockey game, as is Daniel Shank. Also, Alan May has been kicked out of this hockey game, all from a couple of slashing incidents in that second period. We have had a bit of a slugfest as far as penalties are concerned tonight. And, oh, by the way, we've had some goals scored, too.
That way, there's some good goaltending, some good plays. Al May, though, was only awarded a 10-minute misconduct. I just got passed a note. So he will be back in this contest. He is over in the penalty box, but he will return likely in another 2-3 minutes.
Okay, so the original word of the game is, yeah, and there he is. I just looked down, and there he is on the bench.
I thought he had a game also. He got passed a note, and the next thing you know, he's over in the penalty box.
Well, thanks for passing that along. Here is a shot by Glynn, stopped by Chabot. Puck came to the corner. Power play down to 1:05 for San Antonio. Panalev moves it along the board, scooped it down for Miller. Centered, blocked by Hurlbut. Can he get it out of there? It'll go to Valasevic. And the Aeros come out with it short-handed. Bill Bowler gaining the line, pulling up, going into the slot, a pass and a shot, and that goes out of play. Looking at the Midwest Division as far as the San Antonio Dragons are concerned, it's not nearly as tight in that division as it is in the Southwest. The Dragons with 64 points. Chicago 8 points back with 56, followed by Milwaukee 4 points back, and another 4 points back Kansas City, and then Manitoba 8 back. But San Antonio's schedule, they're going to be a busy hockey team in this stretch with a pair at Orlando. Then they go to Michigan and then Fort Wayne.
And at that Orlando game, what they end up having to do, they have no ice here, Adam, this week. They are driving up to Austin. They're going to practice in Austin for a couple days and then end up flying out of Austin to Orlando.
Long shot stopped by Racine. And the Dragons get it back. There is a spell this year where they didn't have ice for a week and they had to spend a week in Vegas.
Check the meal money there at the start of the trip and then at the end.
Yeah, but check it again after the first day.
You could be down. You might be borrowing a lot of money. That's a long time in Las Vegas for a hockey team.
Puck is out at center ice and back to play at Steve Jakes. Trying to shake off a check from Loach. Loach caught him, drilled him to the boards. Puck came to the wall with 8 seconds left in the power play, but it's out to center ice.
And during this penalty killing unit, the one thing the Aeros were able to do was really close that box and keep it very tight.
Here's Bill Bowler.
Penalty over for Houston.
On the wall, a scoop back, Glenn with a long shot deflected on. Chabot save. Hoover flipped it just wide. Keith Osborne to the corner. Smacked it down. Here is Jakes, and it's picked up by Bill Bowler. And Guy Larose will circle back into his own end. We're back at 5 aside, 11.5 to go in the third, and a 3-2 Dragon lead. Besiegio flings it up in the air. That was batted down by Chapdelaine with a high stick, but the Aeros played it. That's no call.
It looks like San Antonio's now is content sending the 1-4 checker and having the 4 guys back on the blue line.
Here comes LaRose, left side, dropped it for Bowler. Bowler setting up, worked it down low. Hurlbut giving chase. LaRose behind the net, takes a hit from Chapdelaine. Miller is in there. Now Greig giving chase to the corner for the Aeros. Popped it back to the line, but that was intercepted by Sullivan. And Panalea moves up across the line. Hit by Warwenka. Got it down to Miller. He's hemmed in by Hurlbut. And we got a whistle to stop play. 10:47 to go in the third. Still a 1-goal Dragon lead. A 3-2 Dragon lead, 10:47 left. We check in at the Aero bench with Rob Dobson. Dobber, do you suspect this hockey team, the Aeros, are going to start taking some chances to get back and tie this thing?
I think that was a big penalty kill for us, Adam, and now it's important that we take the play to the other end and get some good chances. I think you can get some good traffic in front and look for some quick plays around the net, we'll be all right. We have to take care of our own end first, mind you, but we'll get some chances here in the next 10 minutes, 47 seconds. We'll be quite successful near the end.
You know, that was one thing, Dobber, we noticed last night. San Antonio has a propensity to open up and make some turnovers, and we had a lot of 2-on-1s we saw last night.
Yeah, and I think now especially, Adam, it's important that we really take it to them and force them to play solid defense. I don't know if they can handle our forwards when they come with quick speed, so it's important to try that.
Here's Warwenka right in with his shot, and like you said, Dobber, right off the bat, a nice save by Racine, and the puck is still in San Antonio territory. Here is Al May. Worked it down low, but it's jumped on by Sean Reed, and he'll move it up the ice and out at center. Reed put the puck into the Aero end, and Chabot out to slow. We're halfway through this third period in a 3-2 San Antonio lead. Marc Freer gaining the line. Freer scooped it down. He was slashed by Osborne, and that's going to draw a penalty to Keith Osborne, and the Aeros are going to go on the power play.
And what a huge power play with 9 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the third period. Osborne's going to go off. He just got too vicious with his stick. Marc Freer gained the blue line. He gave him the old two-hander in the elbow area. And Marc Freer drawing the penalty. He gained the blue line, had speed, and you can see the slash right there. And that's up in the elbow and the top of the pant area. Osborne just not frugal with his stick. He ends up just slashing Marc Freer. He's going to go off, and Joe Ernst once again was in great position to see that slash. Jeff Brubaker cannot be happy about that penalty, as Marc Freer was in no danger of scoring there. Obviously, it just gained the blue line and took that whack.
Face off to the right of Racine, and the Dragons win the draw, and they'll shoot at the length of the ice. Warwenka will go back to play. Here comes Warwenka, and up ice he will play. Warwenka across the line. He'll shoot the puck in. LaRose giving chase. Chapdelaine got there. It was held up in skates. Here's a chance for LaRose. Put it back to the line for Warwenka. LaRose, right wing boards. He's got Townshend taking a beating in front, but Warwenka tossed it back. Warwenka top of the slot, long shot, a little too much loft on it. Picked up by Bowler, hammered by Harlock, but trying to stay with it. Here is Townshend, back to the line, Besiegio. Hit a skate, came out in front. Dragons looking to clear it, and Loach will cream that the length of the ice.
And the Dragons just seem like a little of a tired team, and I guess so, with 3 games in 3 nights, 4 and 5 nights. They don't seem to have that same spring they did the first 2 periods.
Ciccio brought it across the line, put it in deep. DeSantis overskated. Freer trying to dig it out. Freer behind the net. Here is Bowler back to the line. A pass for Rowanka. Tees it up. Winding, shooting. That hit a leg. Went wide. Freer cutting in. He tried to center it. Fan on it, but gets it back. Rowanka shoots it again. A little too much loft on that shot. Ciccio held it in. Drills it back down. DeSantis reversed it along the boards for Scott Hollis. And that'll go the length of the ice. 8:30 to go in the third period. A 3-2 Dragon lead. Under half a minute remaining in this Houston power play. And up ice they will come. Marc Greig worked it up through the neutral zone, and Valamont shoots the puck in, and it goes out of play.
Shot it in a little bit too high, went high up on the glass and ended up going all the way out down the tunnel area.
One shot, $1 million in jewels. Diamond Cutters International presents the $1 million puck shot contest. You could be the lucky winner of a chance to take a shot on goal at a Houston Aeros game. If you make the shot, you'll be taking home a puck made out of diamonds and emeralds worth $1 million. Your next chance to win is February 21st.
Have you ever had a chance to take a look at that puck? It is absolutely gorgeous. That is a beautiful puck.
Yeah, it is a gorgeous puck.
$1 million.
I've had a chance to hold it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Never ever let me that close to it. They must not trust me or something.
Here is Carl Valamont. Notice how I left that alone, Troy.
I like how
I don't know if that means I'm getting mature, or I just couldn't think of anything witty to say to you.
I think it's mature. You would have found something witty, that's for sure.
No, I just don't. It's too lazy to come up with something. Here's a pass for Freer over 2 lines, and we'll bring the face-off back into the arrow end, and we'll take timeout. Dragons with a 3-2 lead. 7:45 remaining.
San Antonio 3, Houston 2. Scott Hollis, 4th-year pro, 50 games, 13 goals, 9 assists, 22 points. But it's what he does away from the puck. He's a big, solid winger. He's not scared to drop his mitts. He's played very tough the last 4 or 5 games, 18 penalty minutes. He had the fight last night with Mike Yeo. He's not scared to drop those mitts.
Here is Harlock, walks in, shooting, and Chabot saving, then the rebound was chipped over the net. Freer attacked by Hollis, and Jakes will move it. He'll move it up the right wing boards. A pass. Well, I thought he passed it. I couldn't see him along the near boards. He had it back and now shoveled it into San Antonio territory. Harlock rolled it along the boards for Hollis. And it's right back down into the arrow end. This will be an icing call. And Jakes is there. Got to give the Dragons some credit here. You would have suspected, with all the momentum the Aeros had at the end of that second period, that they would have carried it into the third here. But San Antonio has done a terrific job in holding off any Aero chances here. They haven't had any real glorious opportunities on Bruce Racine in this period.
Well, Jeff Brubaker, I'm sure, instructed his team to slow down the pace, and that's what we're seeing. A lot of whistles, a lot of icings. And that's why they've had success in the third period. 21 wins, 1 loss, 1 shootout loss. They played very well in the third, and Bruce Racine has made some key saves.
Off the face-off. Dragons have it in their own end with 7:07 left. Long pass intercepted by Sean Reed. He'll bring it across the arrow line. Reed pouring down the left wing, hits the brakes to the corner. Watched by Basigio. Puck came down for Brian Sullivan, hands it to Panalev, cuts in, stuff shot blocked by Chabot, another shot stopped by Chabot. And right now, Troy Gamble, Freddy Chabot doing the job, holding the Aeros in it.
Making some very key saves there on Panalev, coming around the net, and then it was Miller who had the second shot on Freddy Chabot. He stayed down low. Panalev, with all that speed, Frederic Chabot had to go very quick from his right post to his left post. Look at the rebound there. Miller with that reach and that size. Freddy Chabot was very lucky. He did not get back up, realizing that there might be a second shot. Freddie just decided to say, hey, I'm going to stay down here. Miller had an Aeros defenseman draped all over him, could not get it upstairs. Excellent job by Frederic Chabot.
6:48 to go in this third period, and it's a 3-2 Dragon lead. Darcy Werwanka flipped it ahead for Mike Yeo. He'll bring it through the neutral zone. He shot it in. Racine comes out. He'll swing it to neutral ice, and Justin McHugh tripped up by Basigio, and a penalty coming up. Basigio got the stick in the way. It was an inadvertent one, but a penalty nonetheless, and the Aeros will be down a man.
That's what happens when your goaltender can play the puck very well. Bruce Racine shooting the puck up ice to McHugh, and he makes no mistake. He's going to start going in on a breakaway. Basigio had to give him the old hook, but watch the goaltender sending the forward in. It's McHugh that he sends. He's going to go down in on a breakaway, and Basigio gets his stick caught in his right skate area. He goes down hard to the ice. And talk about huge kills for the Aeros. You cannot let the Dragons score here with 6 minutes and 33 seconds. Big kill for the Aero hockey team.
Off the draw, San Antonio with the puck, sends it down. Miller out there with Panalev and Loach. Barrie at the point with DeSantis. Marc DeSantis scooped it down. Here's Miller, rolled it to Loach. He tried to center it. It was blocked and play halted.
I believe that was Mike Hurlbut again. No, I guess it was Steve Jakes down on the ice blocking a Lonnie Loach pass. He was trying to center it. Steve Jakes ends up lying down and taking it in the belly area. But they send it down. It's Miller that sends it down to Loach. Steve Jakes realizing that just falls down. He was going to be 2-on-1 with Panalev out front. Loach there. He lies down to take away the pass and gobbles it up.
Barrie, a one-time shot stuck aside by Chabot. Puck in the corner. Dug out by Miller. Jason Miller runs it down. And it's Grigori Panalev. Sends it back to the line. Barrie sends it in. Here's a pass. Miller trying to stuff it out in front. That was rejected. Panalev back to the line for Barrie. Scooped it for Grigori Panalev. Slides it down. Here's Miller waltzing in. It was deflected away. DeSantis gathered it in, rolled it to the corner. Loach had it stripped by Jakes, and Conroy comes away with it for the Aeros. Al Conroy, center ice, waiting, and he just goes for a skate, and he'll shoot it down just to kill some time.
Excellent job by Al Conroy to kill that time and get fresh Aero legs out there.
Barrie, a pass for Brian Sullivan, trying to move down, takes a whack from Werwanka. Puck came to the boards. Barrie winding, shooting. It was blocked by LaRose. Loach, shoulder to shoulder with Alamodome. Puck along the wall. Sullivan scooped it down. Here is a puck controlled by Werwanka, and he'll get it to center ice for Guy LaRose. Gaining the line, nope, poked by Barrie. Good play there by Barrie. Now the Aeros trying to bring it in, but Guy LaRose offsides, and play is whistled down. 4:59 to go. Third period, 3-2. San Antonio leads it, and there's still 26 seconds remaining in the Basigio minor.
We talk about a gutsy effort tonight. Guy LaRose, I did not believe he was going to play tonight. He has a sore foot last night. He had it all bandaged up today, and he's been even or plus in his last 9 games. You talk about when he scores a goal, the Aeros are 11-2 in their last 13 games when Guy LaRose scores. But it's the performance of just him dressing tonight. He had his leg all bandaged up. He walked into the hotel today, he had no shoe on. He had his shoe off, he had his leg all bandaged up, he had stim on it, and Jerry Mines did a great job getting him ready for tonight's action.
Here comes Sean Reed across the line, dropped it back. Al May fishing for it, poked it to center, and Len Barrie is there. Osborne, long shot, stopped by Chabot. Aeros are back at even strength in 4 seconds. May gaining the line. He shoots. Short side, missed it. Penalties over, teams at 5 aside. And now the Dragons bring it across the line. McHugh roughed up a bit by Hurlbut, and we'll take a timeout. 4:26 to go. The Aeros looking for the equalizer.
Dragons 3, Aeros 2. Very entertaining third period. The Aeros looking to get that equalizer, as you just said, Adam.
They've got 4:23 to go. Teams at 5 aside, and this is where the discipline will come in now, not to take a penalty from either side. You just play it simple. Here's a shot deflected, and the Dragons have it. I think you're going to see some good hockey here in the final 4:05. San Antonio with a 1-goal lead. Here comes Marc Greig. Send it out to Werwanka. Quick pass over 2 lines. And they'll bring the face-off back into Aero territory. 3:56 to go, and the Aeros looking again. We've touched upon the road, a very critical road swing for Dave Tippett and the boys. They leave Tuesday like 6 a.m. I think it is, where they'll change planes in Minneapolis. They'll go Houston to Minneapolis and then take off from Minneapolis to Winnipeg, and they'll spend 4 days there before going to Milwaukee.
And I don't know if you checked the weather forecast in Winnipeg, but I certainly did. I'm not going to make the trip. I'm going to catch up with the team in Milwaukee, and there's actually quite a big contingent from Houston going. Dr. Eddie Matsu's going, Dr. Baker. A couple of the surgeons of the Aeros are going to go up, as Dr. Matsu got his degree from Winnipeg.
Well, he's Canadian. He's up there, from up there, isn't he?
He's Canadian. He received his degree at the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg, so they're going to make the jaunt. And I already told them, I said, hey, you guys better take your part, because I don't think Dr. Baker's been north in Canada ever, so it's going to be a rude awakening for those guys.
The palm trees will be in bloom there. Puck is in the Aero end. And a quick shot by Barrie going just wide. Centered one, that's knifed away. Marc Greig looking to clear it. And here's a puck sent back to the line. Reed shooting, it went just wide of the net. DeSantis moving down, shot snapped on, and the puck sizzling up over the glass and out of play. The Dragons with a 3-2 lead with 3:19 to go. Fans, you can have as much fun as your child during their birthday party this year. You can let the Aerodrome do all of the work and you have all of the fun. The Aerodrome birthday packages include so much stuff, and all you have to bring are the presents and the birthday boy or girl. Call the Aerodrome in Sugar Land or in Willowbrook to set your party up today.
And a huge contingent of Aero fans. You can look at a couple of the jerseys there. I believe there must be a couple hundred people from Houston over here in San Antonio enjoying the weekend home and home series.
Well, the Booster Club made a bus trip out of it. I don't know how many buses they ended up with, but a lot of Aero fans here tonight. Puck is bounced into Aero territory, and 3:05 left. Aeros still need one to tie. And a pass eluding everybody out at center. And here's Hurlbut trying to advance it. Chapdelaine gathers it in. Conroy tried to bring it in, but the Aeros were offside. Play is whistled down.
Well, if we go back and look at the Gamble game plan tonight, well, the ice surface, I think once the Aeros got used to it, especially in the second period, they played a lot better. Physical play, I think it's been very even. Capitalize on opportunities. Well, you look at the Dragons' goals, they capitalized on a couple opportunities behind the net. The one thing that steps out in my mind is the stuff shot by Lenny Barrie. I think the Gamble game plan's been fairly even, and that's why we have the score 3-2.
Once again, Troy, you never cease to amaze me how you nailed it right on the head. Here's a centering pass blocked by Harlock. And here come the Dragons. Loach flying down the right side, made a nice move. He centered it, and it was batted out by Conroy, and that's a play he'll take at this point. It'll be an icing call as Harlock goes back. And now Conroy caught that out of midair. A nice play.
Really nice play. It was high up in the air, and he batted it all the way down the ice. We talk about a leader in the locker room, Al Connor, and that's why he has that big C on his jersey. He is the leader of the Aeros hockey team.
Well, and when he was acquired 2 years ago at the end of the first season, there wasn't any question when he stepped on the ice and stepped in the locker room, he was going to get that C. It was a tough situation, too, because at the time, Curtis Hunt was the team captain. But once you know what kind of a guy Al Conroy is, just a matter of how big you want the C on that chest.
And Curtis Hunt was out with the back injury, so Al Conroy just kind of slid in there. And as we know now, Curtis Hunt, an assistant coach in Grand Rapids, not even playing anymore, and Al Conroy still leading this Houston Aero hockey team.
Here is Werwanka out at center, and time slowly becoming a factor, but it is just a one-goal hockey game as it's Bolin. Lost it, cleared out at center, and back down the ice it'll go. 2:05 to go in the third. 3-2 San Antonio. Basicio will gather in the puck in his own end. Roll it over to Darcy Werwanka. He'll get it up to Mike Yeo, and he'll put it into San Antonio territory. Out of the net, Racine. Shoveled it along the boards. Ron Hoover trying to clear it, and here come the Dragons. Aeros have had a little trouble getting it deep. Here's a shot by Reed, right on, and Chabot the save. The Aeros haven't had a lot of success in getting it deep in the last few minutes of this third period, and I think with 1:42 left, I would suspect that's what they're looking to do here.
Well, the Dragons' defense are starting to play back a little more, and then they're putting it high up on the glass. This is a great shot by Reed. Frederic Chabot had to be very sharp as McHugh gave the nice feather pass to Reed to blast on Frederic Chabot.
Let's quickly send it down to the Aeros bench. Rob Dobson and Dom, are you guys trying to establish a little deeper play in the Dragon end here for the final 1:42?
Yeah, we got to be aware though. Brucey seems to be able to get up behind the net and stop that puck pretty easily. So we want to either go soft corner dumps and force them down low, or ring it as hard as we can. We didn't get a very good dump the last time and they got it out. So look for a stop dump and a lot of pressure down low here.
Thank you. Here's Conroy across the line. Conroy sends to Freer. LaRose gathers it in, and now the Aeros can go to work. They got it deep. Here's the puck back. Hurlbut, the shot blocked in front. They reached for it, but the Dragons had it and snapped it out.
Excellent job by the Dragons D to tie up the Aeros forward so they could not get their sticks loose to bang in the rebound.
We'll keep an eye on Chabot. 1:13 left, and the puck is in Aero territory. If the Aeros can get it deep here, I sense Chabot will come to the bench, but they got to get it deep. Here's Al Conroy back in his own end. Conroy through the neutral zone. He'll put the puck in. Chabot waiting to see who gets it. Sullivan wrapped it along the boards. It'll bounce out at center, so Chabot stays in the game. Marc Greig will turn. That is out at center ice, and here come the Aeros. A rink-wide pass intercepted. Aeros having trouble now just gaining the blue line. They need a goal. Puck goes in, but this is definitely not what they wanted. An icing call, and they'll bring the face-off back down into the Aero end, and I'm sure Dave Tippett may look to use his only timeout here.
Well, I'm sure one of the coaches will take their timeout. That icing actually was not that bad of a play now because the Aeros could not get it deep. They needed to get a whistle and organize themselves. In 29 seconds, they still have a lot of time to take it all the way down the ice and score. And I think you're likely going to see Dave Tippett use his timeout here.
Maybe not. I think maybe, well, there he is. Now he is going to use it. My thinking that he might not was that he might say, well, let's see if we can get it deep and freeze it. Then I would use it there to diagram a play. But he feels with 29 seconds, he may not get the chance to use it. So let's use it here, he's thinking.
Well, he might not get that whistle in the last 29 seconds. So wisely, that's one great thing Dave Tippett has done very well. His diagram plays and has allowed his Aero hockey team a chance to win games, late in third periods of hockey games.
Ticketmaster now offers you another convenient way to purchase Aeros tickets. Ticketmaster online is located at www.ticketmaster.com, and it offers advanced ticket sales to all your favorite events, like all the Aeros home games at the Summit. 3-2 San Antonio leads at 29 seconds to go. And a face-off coming up to the right side of Chabot. Let's quickly go down to the Aeros bench and find out what's going to transpire. Rob Dobson.
Again, Adam, it all reveals around the draw here. Wouldn't allow it to draw back. They're going to see everyone flood to the far side to keep the pressure away. Bringing around hard to forwards. Right immediately, you're going to take off to that far wall. Try to get the puck in deep with 29 seconds. Establish a play and get a good shot on net. As soon as you see the puck gain control to their end, watch for Freddie coming.
Okay, thank you. Aeros control the face-off. And here comes Basicio. He'll move up with it. A pass, though, blocked by Hollis. And the puck batted down with a high stick, and that just wastes a little more time.
Dave Basicio was trying to feed Marc Freire. He's trying to give him that aerial pass, and then the puck went up in the air, and he ended up batting it down with a high stick. Dave Basicio in his last 10 games has 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. One thing is he was another one of those players that was a very big question mark whether he was going to play tonight, and that's why they dressed Al Leggett. He's not seen, I don't think he's seen the ice in the last period or 2 periods. As a matter of fact, maybe he had a shift or 2. They had to do that. Dave Basicio was another question mark tonight.
Here come the Aeros. Basicio, a pass for Greig. Slipped it through the neutral zone, but right to Chapdelaine. Boy, the Dragons playing this beautifully. That's going to do it. I don't know if the Aeros are going to get much of a chance here. It's shot the length of the ice. Racine flipped it to the boards. And the San Antonio Dragons, a key win in a game that really had the propensity of getting ugly, but because it got close, the team settled down and played a good third period.
Both teams played very solid. San Antonio was just a little better in sticking to their game plan and not allowing the Aeros to get those great quality chances against Bruce Racine.
And how key is that no goal call back in the first period? Key enough to be our Gatorade play of the game.
Well, it was just huge. You talk about momentum. If this goal counts, the Aeros all of a sudden have the lead. When they have the lead, when they score that first goal, you know, their record, what it is in the last 17, they've won 16 with that first goal. That was a huge turning point.
Troy, thanks very much. Don't forget the Aeros are back in action again Wednesday night when they visit the Manitoba Moose. The game can be heard on KKHT 106.9 FM. Our next televised game on Fox Sports Southwest will be Thursday, February 13th, when the Aeros host the Quebec Rafales at the Summit. Once again, tonight's final score, the San Antonio Dragons 3, the Aeros 2. For Troy Gamble, this is Adam Gordon saying good night from San Antonio. Houston Aeros hockey on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines with fair